Good evening and welcome to another exciting show. And tonight we're looking at going backwards to go forwards, which sounds a little weird, but all will be explained a little later. I noticed on Rumble that half an hour before, it might have been longer than that, before the show is due to start, some bastards put a thumbs down for it. So if everybody could thumbs up to out thumb the thumbs down, but fancy putting a thumbs down before the show's even started. I mean,
You've obviously got a critic.
well, I mean, is there something in going backwards to go forward? Is there something wrong with that? I don't know. I mean, is it upset some sort of shrinking violet or something? I don't, it's weird, you know. But the scene actually on the on the front of this show is from The Time Machine, the original one film, made I think 1960. And I did that for a very special reason because I think that's the better of all the films. The Time Machine. I saw it on television. But we got good evening all from Paul. Paul, is that you, Paul, or is it somebody else?
It is definitely me.
It's definitely you. Better check, right? Good evening. And as you're the first one in chat, sounds like a bit of favouritism. Would you like a raspberry for a politician or celebrity
I,
of your choice?
actually, I will donate it to Patrick. There we go. He doesn't get that
Patrick,
option.
would you like? Would you like a? That's a very nice donation. A celebrity or a politician of your choice that you'd like a raspberry and one or two finger salute to.
I don't know. Let me think about it. Give me a little bit of time to think about it.
Okay.
I'll come back
Well,
to you.
first of all, we'd like to plug Holy Land Radio, which is a very good radio station because we are live on there at the moment. And so, Patrick, do you want a quick plug of Holy Land Radio? Bloody good it is. And we're on FM on there as well as on the Fintegret or internet. So, do you want to give it a
getting
quick
better,
plug, mate?
It's getting better, day by day.
It's getting better.
Yeah, it's getting better. I have, this whole time change thing makes it more difficult. When you're in radio, you tend to schedule things ahead of time, and it just throws a monkey wrench. I wish we'd just get rid of it. Let's stay on standard time.
I 100% agree.
Time. Perfect.
I wish we could keep British summertime. I really do, because they did an experiment in the late 60s, early 70s, where when you got up in the morning, it didn't get light until about 10 o'clock in the morning, but you had a nice light evening. So it didn't get dark until about 5. Now it gets dark just gone 4. It's horrible. It really is. And when we come to the 21st of December, which is the shortest day, it's gets dark about 3, doesn't it? It's horrible. Terrible.
It links to the satanic world, doesn't it? Because it's to do with the death of the sun. That's what they celebrate. So whereas from the 25th of December is when they say that that's the day that Jesus was born, the Son of Christ, the Son of God.
Yes,
they're referring to the sun, because the sun dies. Its lowest point from the 22nd to the 25th, and then it starts to
rise again.
Return to summertime, yeah.
But they reckon he was born in September, don't they? He wasn't born in Christmas.
September the 11th, in fact. That's why September the 11th is such an important date in their world. Yeah.
Good heavens. What do you think to say about this, Patrick? Do you think that Jesus was born in September, not December?
I guess I can only go by what the church has set up. I would think that he died on the same day he was pretty much conceived, which would have meant that if he was conceived on the first day of the year, which would have been usually in March and April, with the what is it they call it, the solstice?
Yeah, but I think the 1st of April was the new year in those days. I think I might be talking complete ignorance. Because
no, I agree with that.
That's
and then
why
it would have been 9 months after that would have been December, the winter solstice.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I don't.
Well, none of us were there, so we don't know.
Exactly. I just go by with tradition. It's good enough for me.
Well, that's right. But that's why they call it April Fool, because when they changed the calendars around, people that still went by the old calendar, they called them April Fools. That's where it
we had a calendar change back in, I think it was like 15 1600s, Pope
Right.
Gregory, hence the
That's it.
name Gregorian calendar.
Mm.
I think it was the 15th is when they changed it.
And we
Or
lost
they
the
changed it, I think, on, I don't know, it was like the 4th or the 5th, and then just lost a few days and went straight to the 15th. And then that's what we have now. We jumped ahead
because we
Oh.
lost a
from the
month in the
Julian.
year ultimately, because the September, October, November, December should be months 7, 8, 9, and 10. Because
That-
October, for example, Oct is 8, but it's the 10th month, and DC, as in
Right.
decade, is 10, but it's actually 12. So that's where we're missing a month between April and July. There should be a month
Really?
in there somewhere, yeah. Which would then work it out right that October would then be 8th, November 9, December 10. Yeah.
It's
And
interesting, isn't it?
and it should be and if it's based on, it should be based on the cycles of the moon. And if you divide 365 by 28, you get 13. Exactly 13. And that all links with the menstrual cycle, it links with the moon cycles, and that's
You
how it
got a
should
good
work.
point.
And
Because
every month would
yeah,
start on a Monday, and every
that's
month would end on a Sunday, or start on a Sunday, end on a Saturday, whichever it is. They would all be uniform throughout the year.
lunar cycle, so that you'd have 13 months in a year, and that sounds logical
Yeah.
to me. I don't know
And if
why
you
they
think
don't.
about that in the bigger picture, that means we also they get 1 month's pay, or sorry, they get a free month from us of work.
Yeah,
If you think about it like that, but also
that's
on the
right.
flip side, you don't pay a month's tax.
Yeah,
So
I suppose
there's a good and bad side to it, really.
that's right. Anyway, we pushed, we promoted Holy Land Radio, and the other one was it Soapbox, Radio Soapbox, which we're
RadioSoapbox.com. Yeah.
.com, which and your one is, I think you're on Telegram. Have you got a .com at all? You've got have you a website?
You're talking about
Yeah,
Soapbox?
Holy Land.
HolyLandRadio.com.
HolyLandRadio.com, and we got Soapbox Radio. That's .com?
I believe so.
That's right. And we're also on Rumble, YouTube.
RadioSoapbox.com, I believe is what that is.
That's it. Facebook, and also on BitChute after the show. It goes on later. Anyway, in chat, we've got, before we start, we've got here, or fully start off, we've got DJ B2, Blu-ray 144, Alice Gorgeous, hello, Asperger's as Fudge, I love that name. Now, Alice Gorgeous has said, a certain religion worship the moon. They like the dark. Ooh, satanic. We've got Jojo Gizmo. Hello, Jojo. They changed Christmas to 25th of December to please the pagans who celebrated winter solstice then. Interesting. Matilda. Hello, Matilda. And then we've got Mark Anthony. Hello, Mark Anthony. Mark Anthony always comes up with the answers if you've got a problem. Brilliant. So nice. Good evening, Mark Anthony. And we've got Warren Ap Arthur says // I don't know what that was supposed to mean. Is that something to do with the Continent website // I don't know.
I think that is a ruin or some sort of symbol for the hail sign, where you raise your right hand up in the sky.
I know what it is. Sorry, thanks, mate. Yes. The thing that we shouldn't, we're not allowed to mention. That's the thing.
The thing that'll get you arrested if you go to Germany and do it.
That's
out in
right.
public.
Yes. Because what's it? How tall was Mr. H, and where did he live? Well, he was about that high, and he lived over there. You know, that's what you mustn't do. You know. Oops, I just done it. Sue
Can you hear the
Sparkle.
sirens?
Excuse me, sir. You've been
We've let a rapist go down the road there. We've come to speak to you because you said something.
said something naughty.
Yeah.
And apparently it wasn't a Roman salute. It's wrong, because the Romans never saluted that way. Apparently, so the historians say. So it
How
wasn't
did they salute then?
Well, they just sort of raised their hands slightly. You just, because I always thought it meant I come open-handed and will come in peace, because I have not got a weapon in my hand. You know, that's why you show this. and just say, you know, I have an open hand. I come in peace. I wish you no harm. That's what I used to think the Romans did it for, but I don't know. Anyway, what I was going to say is going backwards to go forwards. Now, what thing should we return so we can go forwards? Now, I've put a few things forward. One is vehicles that can be repaired and articles that can be repaired, because I'm sick of getting stuff that you can't repair, which is all sealed units, and cars that bloody work. This is the trouble, you know, cars now, they're always conking out. People say, oh no, I like this and that. But no, seriously, cars should go and go and go and go and go and never conk out. And I think, first of all, restoring the family unit, number one. Number two is what I always say is do away with usury. And anything else would you like to add to this? And also have buses that, now you've got something to say, the Fockham Transport Minister, Mr. Anorak, about buses. So let's light the fuse and retire, as they say. So what is it about the amount of money that's wasted on buses? Because where I live, they're all over 10 years old, and near the end of it, you know. So,
but then modern buses, to be fair, a lot of modern buses will do a lot longer if they're looked after. Like, for example, National Express in Birmingham are still operating 20-odd-year-old Dennis Tridents.
really?
That won't mean anything to anybody, but have a search. They're still on the road today. There's a few left. And if they're looked after, they should go on. They should last. And especially when you go back to sort of the 80s, we were talking about the 80s and before all this environmental crap came out. Our local fleet here they had what they call a Gardner engine in the back. So Gardner was a well-renowned engine manufacturer of buses and trucks, and their engines were designed basically to be sloggers. They'd go on forever, and they had millions of miles under the clocks of the old vehicles we used to have here.
Yeah,
and they never failed. They never ever failed. And if they did fail, some bloke would turn up. One of the engineers would turn up with a spanner, give it a kick, and it'd start. And then from 2001 onwards, we started getting stuff with techie crap on. That when the bus broke down, and they often did, they'd have to the engineer would turn up with a laptop, plug it into the bus, and the bus would then tell the engineer what was wrong with it. So it loses that skill in being able to repair the vehicle without even needing to check. And
I'm bloody fed up with computers getting into it and everything. I'm sorry to talk over you, but that's getting in my bloody tits. It's just computerized everything. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
I said before the show about the hybrid stuff. People who are falling for this hybrid stuff and electric vehicles is, I mean, if the bus world's anything to go by, there was a fleet of vehicles up with First Group in Leeds. There were hybrid buses, and they were withdrawn after 8 years because it was cheaper to buy a brand new bus at £250,000 than it is to repair or replace the battery in these vehicles. And that speaks volumes. How's that environmentally friendly when 2 buses are needed for what one diesel would do in the same?
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. But I mean, do you remember the old Routemaster buses? We might not do. I mean, they were built in the 50s. They just went and went and went. And you still see pictures of places like India, and they're still bleeding running them. They shipped a load of them over to India, and they're pretty please, ding ding, you know. And it's just marvelous.
Well, they were simple machines, weren't they? They ran on. They were low geared, so they weren't designed to. They weren't never designed to do 80 miles an hour. They were designed as a city bus to do 30 miles an hour around the streets of London.
Yeah.
And as a result, the wear and tear was low on them. And even down to the designs on the roof was designed so that if it clipped a tree, the tree would just run across the top of it rather than ripping the roof off, as it were.
That's right. And I tell you something, they had windows that you could open.
Yes, that's another bugbear
nice,
of mine.
Fresh air. Beautiful fresh air instead of people coughing and farting around you and that type of thing. But Barefoot Forager has put, and I've made a note, making a note of these. Oh, hang on, I lost it. Here it is. Food we can grow, catch, and forage. Spot on. And I was going to come
Yeah.
to that a little bit later because I used to, well, come to it now, really. They used to actually design housing so you had farms around the housing to supply food for the people who lived in the houses. Simple, easy.
We need to getting back to community. That's what I think.
Yes.
That's where we need to be heading for. Where we
Well,
work within a community rather than
that's right.
fighting each other. That's what it seems at the moment.
Well, you may laugh at this, but I live in the cucumber capital of, you see, Patrick lives in the area of cheese. I live in the area of cucumbers. And if you buy a cucumber from Britain, it's probably from this part of the world. And it was nurseries all around where I live. And they used to have Rochford's nurseries as well. Massive it was. And it was on a film in the 1930s showing the girls picking the cucumbers. And I don't know what it's about soil around here, but cucumbers and tomatoes grow very well around here. And when I first lived here, it was, well, you'd spoilt for choice. You could walk up the road, walk into a nursery, and say, "Cucumber, please," and the bloke go and pick it for you and put it in a brown paper bag. There it is. And
Yeah, yeah.
what's happened? They've sold out to property developers where they built houses. I mean, they actually built some houses right next to some pigsties. Seriously. And people say, "Well, what about the smell?" I said, "Well, look, the pigs will get used to it. Don't worry." Fine. Now we got here, Sue Sparkle says, "We have a 110 Defender 1991. And it is so easy to repair. Great vehicle. I can go a little bit back than that. My Toyota is 1989. But the trouble is getting parts for it. It's bleeding difficult. But it's a 1989 Toyota. Wish we could go back to a high street full of independent shops. 100% agree. And it's local councils that have put them out of business.
Well,
Because
it's these out of town shopping
yeah,
malls, isn't it? That's where it's cheap. I'll probably said this on a previous show, where out of some of the cities local, Wolverhampton, Birmingham, and so on, they've effectively removed transport from the streets of Wolverhampton and Birmingham, and now they're dead. But then, like in Wolverhampton, just outside, you've got one of these out of town shopping centres where it's cheaper to go there and park for free, so people aren't incentivized to go and fill the
yeah.
towns like they used to. And I think
Well,
it's all by design, to be honest, to remove, to close, to basically turn our cities and towns into no-go zones.
I agree with you because you've all virtually described Waltham Abbey. Because Waltham Abbey is a tourist area. It was. And you've got what they did, they allowed, well, I'll mention their names, Lidl and Tesco's at one end of the high street, which has both got free parking. And they've got another out of town parking area, which has the Pound Lane and Home Bargains and that, which has free parking. Oh, and a McDonald's there as well. So that has drained the high street where you used to have to queue to get down it because it's very old worldy there. And now the council a couple of years ago, where the car park was free for the high street, they imposed parking charges. So people think, balls to that. Why should I pay to park? I can go free to the local supermarket. So the
Well,
council clobbered it on the head. And now
well,
look, Waltham Abbey, it's dead.
well, that's the thing with this bus fare thing, where they said it was just £2 to go anywhere. Well, it's all right for them to say that, and like the government say, well, it's £2 wherever you travel. But the operators still have to purchase the vehicles at however many millions of pounds they are, or sorry, £250,000 a piece. They'll never make that money back on that, no chance. But
Yeah,
if there's only one of you, yes, it's cost effective. But if there's two of you, that's £8 basically, 4 quid there, 4 quid back. So it's cheaper to get in your car and park.
that's right.
So there's no incentive to use public transport.
Well,
And
what they
Sorry.
What they've done. Sorry, carry on, mate. I chimed in. It's my
No, I
fault.
was just saying, especially with the trains, how expensive the railways are. The trains
Oh,
are
bloody hell.
extortionate.
Phenomenal. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I tried to find out. I was going to go down to Hackney, a rather a weird part of London, to go and see a talk, but I didn't go in the end. That was all a couple of months back, and I inquired how much it was, and I said that no, Hackney in London, not in New York, not anywhere in America, you know. And he said, no, that is how much it costs. It's phenomenal price,
Yeah.
absolutely unbelievable price, and that was one way. And
They
I
probably
think,
didn't expect you to come back.
yeah,
You go to
well,
Hackney, you won't need a return, mate.
but now,
Was that to go hear
Phil,
that lady speak about the
sorry,
flags? Was that to go hear the lady speak about the flags?
that's right, yeah, got a good memory, mate. Yeah, that's right, yes, and we didn't go in the end because Paul English sod that, and he backed out, and I thought, "Oh, sod that," and I backed out. And there's only Aunt Sally that was going to go, and she backed out because we didn't go. But no, it wasn't. It's not an easy place to get to because it's what I call the twilight zone. You know, you got the main rail that goes down to Liverpool Street, then you got to get off, and then you got to change onto a sort of a smaller line, but again that goes into the twilight zone. So
Well, I think is it Hackney where they said that the Alsatians walk around in pairs?
Oh, bloody. But the strange thing about Hackney is it's become upmarket. But you've got one street where it's absolutely rough as hell, and the next street, which is all hoity-toity, there was called Felicity, hello, Rolls Royces and things like that. It's a very, it's like Islington used to be a shithole. Now it's upmarket, you know. So I think Tony Blair lived there. But Phil Howard, Phil says, outlaw the word pensioner and return to the word elder.
Mhm.
Yes, I think that's
Yeah.
a nice word. Yes, I agree with that. Alice Gorgeous said, "Get rid of all laws, acts, and statutes after 1972." Excellent. Right, I'll write this one down. That's good. So was it remove statutes, etc.
I think we should keep
1972.
common law though, because common law
Oh, I agree with you there. Yes.
works under the principle of do no harm, loss, and so on. It's
Yes.
simple things that everyone and anyone can follow, no matter how thick they may be. I'm sure they can still follow it. Even
Well,
Keir Starmer could get that one right.
yes. I'm sorry. I'm just writing this down. All laws, because. But you're right, and I mean, I'll tell you something that they apparently got in Germany, but the people have written underneath this item that this is on Telegram that they live in Germany and and at a station they've got a repair area. So if you've got something that's gone wrong, gone tits up, like I don't know, your shoelace has gone off, whatever, you go there and someone will repair it for you for a few pennies. Now, isn't that a bloody good idea?
Yeah, yeah.
And having repair zones. So my one is repair zones, so you can go and take something. Because I'm the local repairman where I live now. People take all their stuff that's blown up or gone wrong to me, and I repair it for them.
But you are
Yeah,
right though. Things are designed to break, aren't they? And
yeah,
everything's, no matter what it is you purchase, whether it's a chair, whether it's a television, whether it's a car.
Planned obsolescence. They
Yeah,
teach that in business schools.
yes.
it's
Usually
all
about 5
designed
to
to
7
fail.
years.
Well, that's right. Yes, you're right. But now what we got here? Now, David says, "I blame Walsall Shopping Centre." Do you really? Oh well, never mind. Hang on a minute, hang on. They were huge. Maybe something in the chemicals. What was huge? Oh, that's it. Sue Sparkle says, "Love beetroot. My day used to grow it." And David has said they were all huge. Maybe something in the chemicals. That's a good point. Yes. I blame Warsaw Shopping Centre.
See, don't
And
you
I agree with the next one. Poundland has gone rubbish. I agree. Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
don't you
Paul.
think that also we should have our markets back?
Yes.
I mean, like I went to Shrewsbury Market on Saturday, and It's brilliant in there. Butchers, veg
Yeah.
stores. If you want to buy any crap, there's crap there as well. But
Mm.
I just think we need the old high street back, and all the where it would be the centre of attention, if you like, and
I agree with you.
it's all been removed slowly but surely. It's not
Well,
bad, not good.
I can just about remember it. It must have been before I started school. My mother took me to Waltham Abbey, and they used to have a cattle market there. And I was very upset to see the animals with little tags in their ears. I was thinking, oh, the poor animals got little tags in their ears. And there was a pub where the old farmers used to sit outside having their pint on a nice day and talking about their animals and things. Wasn't that lovely?
Yeah.
And but that's all gone now. There's no longer but Poundland has gone rubbish because there's very little thin there. That's a pound, isn't there? Sod all.
The trick with Poundland is to go in there and just find one of the attendants and say, "How much is that? Tell me how much is this?"
Well, I found Poundland is two extremes: extreme crap and extreme good, and nothing much in between. But it's a bit upmarket now, isn't it? I mean, I bought some jeans in there that are pretty good. Black ones that I wear on my push bike because
For £1?
no, not for £1, about a tenner they were. Because when you're on a bike, you get all shit thrown up at you. So you got to wear black because you don't. The worst thing you wear on a push bike is white because you get shit thrown all over you. So is he a cyclist? Yeah, he's got shit all over him. Look,
It's two-tone.
Two-tone, yeah. So you wear dark colours and a sort of fluorescent, what do you call it, over the top. People then think I'm a council worker. So
Not spandex.
I do not wear spandex. No, I wear jeans. So, with an onion, a couple of onions, and a carrot down the front. So, just to no, I don't.
Can you say it without laughing?
Hatchy, Alec Gorgeous. I've got 4. They must be over 2 kilos. Have you really? I'm going to need my stew pot to boil them. They're massive.
Cut them in
What,
half.
Yes, that's big.
If you're on beetroots, cut them in half and use half today, half tomorrow. That's what I do.
I buy them in the plastic packets because, quite honestly, you boil beetroots in your kitchen, it looks like a scene from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, with all the red all over the place.
The trick with that, Chris, is when you get somebody you don't like Jehovah's Witnesses, turn up at your door, cut a beetroot and get your hands around and just go down and speak to them and say, "Sorry, did you want any help?"
With a knife in your hand. I'm just dealing with someone. Excuse me.
I'm dealing with the last Jehovah's Witness who knocked the door. Just give me a sec.
or just have 2 false legs hanging behind you and saying, "Do you like hanging baskets? I've just hung my baskets." A bloke I used to work with used to say, I'm sorry it took me time to get to the door. I've just been trying to conjure up the devil. But by the way, I guess you're lucky, Patrick, where you live. You don't get Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on your door, do you?
Oh yeah, we do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Well, they long distance ones.
They have a hall or whatever they call it just down the road from us. In fact, it's
Really?
about 5 miles from here.
Yeah.
More.
But actually, if you ask them in, they don't know what to say because they say we never got this far before. Sorry.
Yeah.
I should imagine it's high risk in America, isn't it, Patrick? Because it's a Jehovah's Witness knocks on the door. They don't know what they're going to be faced with, do they?
Suppose not. Yeah.
Are they armed with rifles?
I haven't seen them in a long time, though.
I haven't. No, they haven't Jehovah's around my area for. Well, you know what they do? They look down all the death. They find out who's died, and then you knock on the door because they know that people are vulnerable if they've had a loved one that's died. And when my father died, bloody hell, it's like flies. There was like swarms of them coming around my house.
Really?
And then the woman next door, her husband died, and then her son died. Bloody hell, they're knocking on her door every 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they must keep a list, and then if they have no luck at a certain place, just strike it off the list. Because they haven't been back here in a long time. It's been years.
I'm always polite.
all the time.
I'm very polite
Yeah,
to 'em.
I'm always polite too.
They're very nice people, actually. They're very misguided,
Oh,
but
yeah.
very nice people, you know?
I worked with one of them that went out to their
Have you
main headquarters out in New York and helped them build it. So,
really?
yeah, they're not bad.
No,
It's
not
just,
bad at all.
yeah,
Misguided.
just annoying. It's just annoying on a
Yeah,
Saturday morning when you're trying to sleep in and you get a knock on the door and
yeah. Oh, so, well, I actually had a creepy experience with the Jehovah's Witness. Um, they knocked on the door. I said, "Oh, what's your name?" So I told them my name, and "Oh, I'm Fred, Bert, and Alice, and whatever. Nice to meet you." Yeah, and that was it. And I was out pumping up my tyres of my car, and I was like, suddenly I saw, because I live in a cul-de-sac, I saw this car drive along the cul-de-sac, and someone looking like, along the doors. Then they came along, parked up, got a, "Hello, how are you?" Huh? I was standing there, I was thinking, am I losing my mind? Who are these people? And there's this bloke and his wife talking to me as if they've known me for years. I'm standing there completely puzzled. "Ah, you pump your tyre. You need to go down to the garage to get your tyres. But look, follow me. I said, no. I prefer to do it manually because the tyres are cold, and if I drive, they'll hot up and I'll get the wrong readings." And this bloke, and I'm standing there thinking, do I know this person? And it's a terrible experience because your brain is going 1,000 miles an hour. And I actually thought I was sort of going a bit out of my mind because I thought, these people know me, but I don't know them. It turns out they were Jehovah's Witnesses, and the Jehovah's Witnesses had knocked on my door, given them my name, and they come along. And they said, "Oh, we're Jehovah's Witnesses." I went, and in the end, I had to ask them, I said, "Excuse me, you know me, but I don't know you." I had to be rude. And that was it. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has had an experience like that. It's bloody frightening, I can tell you, because you're standing there thinking, "I've got dementia or something," what's happened in my mind, Now, David has said about Poundland, actually £1.50 land with inflation. Yeah, you're right. Well, it's more than that now. Batteries, rechargeable batteries used to be £1. They're £2 now. Matilda says £3 anywhere where I am. Yeah.
we have what's called a Dollar General in our town, and it's basically a miniature Walmart, or you'd call it
Really?
a Tesco.
Tesco,
Tesco
yeah.
is our Walmart. So it's just a convenience in a little village, and of most of the bare necessity type stuff, some groceries, produce, and
Really?
then
Do you
similar
have
Have we
any
things.
called them?
independent? Sorry, Chris. Do you have any
Well, yeah.
independent stores out there in America then, Patrick? Like,
Say that again. I didn't hear that first part.
do you still have independent stores like your old, like the independent bakery or the butcher or anything like that in America? Or has it all been what
Yeah,
is
we
it
have
all
we
just
have like an
uniform?
independent butcher, but most of their customers are conglomerate type things. But um, there are some, though most of the things that we have, say like we have bars and whatnot, which you'd call a pub,
Hmm.
and restaurants that are independent, but we've got like a Subway, which is a
Oh,
chain
we got that.
franchise like McDonald's.
We got that.
Um, yeah, Ace Hardware. We used to have another hardware store that was kind of similar, but it wasn't as well known nationwide thing. Was a bit smaller now we've got two of them, and they both compete, which is fine by
Really?
me because the other one, you get customer service at one that you don't like, you just go to the other one,
Good
even if you
point.
have to pay a little more.
What about Dollar Tree? You got Dollar Tree?
We've got dollar stores like that, Family Dollar, like I said, Dollar General is another one, and then they plop one next to the other, compete.
I think,
Uh,
didn't Woolworths start as a nickel and dime store? I think it did, wasn't it? Nickel
Woolworth?
and dime? Woolworths. I think they
Yeah, I
started
think we
like a
had
pound
Woolworth,
shop.
um,
Yeah,
in this
'cause
country at one point.
yeah, because they pulled out of Britain, and I'm not sure whether Europe, but
I
they
don't
pulled
think
out
we
of
have
Britain.
them. I think they've got 'em more in Australia, but not here.
Because they changed it to Woolies. They called it Woolies because
Woolies.
that was a slang.
I was
Yeah,
about
go
to
to
see an
We
Woolies.
egg.
had
Remember seeing?
Sears. Did you have Sears?
You
Sears
mm,
Roebuck? We
I think they
that
got
was
them
a
in London.
big There was a big mail order business back in the turn of the century, and then they were
Okay.
basically they turned into what became the model type thing for Walmart and Tesco. You'd say Tesco, and then they went
Really?
out of business. I don't know, 10
Oh,
years ago or so, maybe not even that long ago, but they were huge. Well, the
really?
biggest building in the world was the Sears Tower in Chicago. It still
Oh,
is. I
yeah.
think it's still the biggest tower in America.
Well, that's amazing.
But
Look at now, people. If I mention Armstrong, hardly anybody would know who they are. But if you'd have
who?
mentioned that, yeah, that's it. Edwardian times and Victorian times, they built everything. They were into everything: cars, ships, tools. Everything was Armstrong. Now, they're hardly heard of, and they make weapons. They're in the defence industry now
Huh.
because Armstrong.
Sears was one where it was big with the railroads. When railroads came in, you could buy a
Oh,
house from Sears, from their Sears catalog, and then they would ship your materials, and then they'd build it and ship it in,
clever.
or take a train and freight it into wherever it was going.
That's
So
interesting.
it was because of the mass transportation, these businesses grew, and Sears was the biggest one up until, like I said, recently it died. I think Walmart's taken over for what niche they used to have, but
Really?
it's
What about?
gone. And then we had Ben Franklin stores. Those were another
No, I don't
thing that
think we
we
had.
had. No, you
What
wouldn't
about?
have Ben Franklin.
What about CNA? Do you ever get CNA in
What's
America?
DNA?
They were a store. They made their money during World War II, supplying the German army. You might be help me here, Paul. I think they were Dutch. Might be
I
Dutch.
know, I know, I know they. I know we used to have one in town here, and
Mm.
then the last one I saw was in Hamburg. So I think they may have vacated the UK and gone.
Oh yeah, they're no
That
longer
their
in the
stores are
UK.
still in. But
Yeah.
apparently, did you? I didn't realize, but apparently, they used to stamp CNA in women's knickers, so they could tell the front from the back.
Yeah, because
Sorry.
that was my uncle's old joke, wasn't it? Front and back. That's what he used to call them, front and back. Man at CNA. That's what it was it? Ever come to CNA. Yeah, they pulled out about what, 20, 30 years ago? Bloody long
Yeah.
time.
They never
Yeah.
made any money where we were. Our
No.
CNA, they got two entrances, and it was basically just used as a walkway to get to the bus station. It was quick as fruit. No one ever bought anything; they just walked through.
It's like Farts and Benders, Marks and Spencers rather. Farts and Ben I just walk through Farts and Benders to get to Tesco's. I don't bother shopping there. I mean, quite honestly, it's the amount of synthetic smells in there now. When you walk through a bakery section, bloody, it's sort of synthetic bread and sort of all to get
I've said
people
that
sort of.
M&S is one of the few supermarkets I do use. I don't use. It is the only one I go into from time to time now. I don't use any others. I use
Would
our
you win the
farm shop
lottery?
now.
Do you win the lottery or something to go at Marks and
No, no, I
Spencer?
just use our farm shop now and the
Yeah.
market in Shrewsbury and try and keep away from them where I can.
Well, I use the farm shop, which is in Appleby Street, around the corners for me, and they're bloody good. And if you buy their frozen stuff, you get 20% off. So that's all right. Now, what's this? Blair and Bush had doubles. Saddam and Bin Laden had doubles. Yeah, I was talking about doubles. Yes, lots of people had doubles, I
Well, they
think.
reckon that Bin Laden was some relation of the Bush family. I was watching
Hmm.
something. I was watching Eric debating the other week, sort of in relation to 9/11, and they were showing that all the links between Bush and they were virtually family, Bush and the Bin
Blair?
Ladens.
Oh, Bin
Oh, wow.
Laden.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I heard Bush was related to the royals through his wife, George W.
Really?
She was supposedly a librarian, but she was a little bit more than just a humble librarian in her lineage. But that's
Really?
maybe that's hearsay. I don't know.
Ah,
Well,
but
they reckon George Bush Senior or his dad was some relation to our friend from World War II. Apparently,
really?
he was in business with him in
You mean
some
Prescott?
Yeah,
Prescott Bush.
yeah.
They had what's called the Harriman Bank.
Hmm.
I think it was based out of Maine. I want to say I don't know exactly. That's what the Bush family they made their claim to fame was with the Harriman banking
Well,
dynasty.
wasn't George Bush Senior born in Germany? That's another one they've come out with.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but I know that the old boy, the Bush family, he gave lots of loans to Uncle H. But and Tinkle Tink says, if you want to see change, then change the economic system. Oh, 100% agree. 100% agree. Capitalism needs to be replaced by something better. Yes, free enterprise. Worker owned and self directed democratic co op businesses, no employers. Yes, well, I agree with you there, Tinkle Tink. Number one, do away with usury, which I always said. And number two, change, not have capitalism, but promote free enterprise, which is for the average person. That's it. You know, that's a big difference. And that's Henry Ford, he was into free enterprise, and that's why he didn't take over Lockheed. Said, why doesn't Ford take over Lockheed? He said, because Ford is good at making motor cars and Lockheed's are very good at making brakes. He said, if we don't, they won't be as good because we don't make brakes, we make cars. So,
Well, here in the States, the biggest landowner is the government. And that's part of the problem with socialism is, the land goes into the
yeah,
state coffers. What it should be is more people should be owning land.
I
More
agree with that.
that's the solution to it. Is
yes.
give people more land. We wouldn't have as much poverty as we have now.
Because
But they
this
use
idea,
property
sorry,
as a means of taxing. Go ahead.
because this idea of people living off grid, you can't live off grid. No matter how you do it, you wouldn't be able to, because if you live in a camper van on the side of a road, you've still got to put fuel in it at some point.
Yeah.
If you live on somebody's land, you've got to buy the land, so you've got to purchase it with money in some way, shape, or form, so the bank will know about it. So ultimately, as it stands right now, even if you lived in the far north of Scotland, in the middle of nowhere, somebody still owns that land, and you just have to purchase it from somebody. So the chance of living off grid, unless you bribe the farmer and say, if I give you 20 million, you keep stum. But they know where we all are. So the idea of trying to live off grid, I think, is virtually non-existent at the moment. Whilst the land is, as you say, Patrick, while it's still owned by the state or by governments, there's no way of
Well,
living off grid.
once you own the land, though, it should remain in your hands and your children's hands,
Yeah,
Definitely.
and that's the way.
I agree. Well,
Yeah,
look at the Duchy
exactly.
of Cornwall. I don't know if you've heard of the Duchy of Cornwall, Patrick, but what it is the royals, especially Charlie Boy, big ears, owns Cornwall. And loads and loads of people, uh, single, die without a family, and the property goes to Charlie Boy. That's it. Nice, very nice. Ching, straight into his accounts. And it's the same, I think, up in somewhere up north. It belongs to the royals as well.
Can
That
you
should
explain something to me about
certainly.
the lineage and how they
Mm.
change over to being king from being prince? Why didn't he become king the moment his father died? Why did it go to his mother?
I don't know.
I think Philip wasn't actually of the bloodline as such, and I think
Okay,
so.
now
I think it went straight to Queen Lizard, whatever it was, and then when she snuffed it, obviously the next in line was Sausage Fingers.
Hmm.
okay,
Yeah.
so
I
the way it used to be was in a monarchy, a Christian monarchy. Let's caveat
Mhm.
and say it's a Christian monarchy based on biblical principles of what they call primogeniture, which is through the male. The male heirs determine who the lineage goes to, the monarch becomes. It's the firstborn male heir of the monarch is the next in line, and then if he should die, it's the next firstborn of the living uh, sons. And that's why it was
Well,
so important for Henry VIII to have a son as an heir, and though in the grand scheme of things, it didn't matter because Elizabeth ended up becoming like the first queen to run things without a king. And I just think it's very odd that they don't practice primogeniture of the male heir becoming the next king, because the way it should have been then is it should have passed directly from King Charles' father to King Charles, no matter how young he was. He should have been the king all along if they had been following Christian primogeniture, which I don't think they did. I
And
did
they
a little bit
changed
of
it.
research. They
Didn't they
changed it
change? They changed it. I don't know whether it was
after
Henry
World
VIII
War II
changed it.
or Henry VIII.
It might have been
Yeah,
Henry
because
VIII.
Victoria ruled for a while,
I'm
didn't she?
yeah, I'm walking on very. I better not say anything because I don't know, but I know that before 1066 we had the Witan, and the Witan was the assembly of powerful noblemen and church officials who would choose who the next king would be, because the king in those days was the eyes and ears of the underdog or the poor. If two people had a disagreement, they could get the king to decide for them who was right and who was wrong. So, for example, if someone had a plot of land and someone said, "Well, that's my plot of land," they could go to the king, and he would be on the side of the underdog all the time. That was the king's. That was the king's job. And as I say, they were chosen by the church and the noblemen who would be the next king, which to me sounds a lot fairer, really, in many ways. It's a bit like how the Pope is chosen, in a way, you
Yeah,
know?
by the cardinal,
Mm,
the College
that's right.
of Cardinals,
Yeah. Yeah, it's very similar.
the
But,
electors,
yeah.
which
And,
is
I mean,
which is the Holy Roman Empire. They had electors that
mm,
were similar in that circumstance.
oh, they sometimes get it wrong and get a wrong 'un, but then look what we got now. We got Charlie Boy, who's not exactly the sharpest knife in the box, that wants to wipe half the bloody population out off the face of the earth because he thinks we're too overpopulated. You know, he believes in all this climate rubbish and stuff like that. And
Well, he's
friends with very strange friends, shall we say?
well, he's
Now, no,
fake,
now,
isn't
that.
he? Is
Hmm.
is because they in their world the color purple is the color of is the color of deception, and
Really?
on his coronation or the oath or whatever it was, he wore purple, which speaks
Well,
volumes.
that's a biblical color of monarchy, because purple was one of the rarer colors, and it symbolized royalty, and that's why I think it was Christ was given a purple garment as a sign of being a
Yeah,
monarch.
but they're not really monarch because they got to be crowned on the Stone of Destiny. And the Stone of Destiny, they've admitted, is a fake. The
It was
one
stolen.
in It was stolen, and apparently, I don't know. I can check this out. You can look it up on Google. You can actually see the real Stone of Destiny, um, up in Scotland. I think it's in the
Yeah,
Edinburgh Castle, and it was stolen by Scottish nationalists in before the Queen was anointed in
The
19.
other week I was thinking about this though, because it's really intriguing to me because of the idea of primogeniture has just come up as a means of inheritance. Like if we had primogeniture of inheritance of a right to inherit the land from your father,
Yeah,
the nations would be in a much better situation, and citizenship would be um, really you'd be proud to be who you are and born in the land that you are, because you
I
stand
agree.
to inherit the land.
I
And
100% agree with you.
I had
Yeah.
researched who would be the actual king at the moment, and it's not Charles. It would have been the grandson of George V, who his name's Prince Richard of Duke of Gloucester. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's
Yes, but
supposedly not way up there.
Tony Robinson researched into this, and he found that the true king was in Australia was a sheep shack. Sorry, sheep keeper. I almost said
Really?
shagger there, but yeah, yeah. And he died recently, and he went over to see him, and he's a real Australian there, and he's always said, "Can I be anointed?" He sort of belt down. He said, "Oh, I feel a lot better now. I got a knighthood now." But yeah, so that's quite something. But no, the Stone of Destiny, as I say, it's it, it, it I think that they say that Charlie Boy might be with the last of the royals. I don't know because they'll go underground. Who knows?
Well,
But
to me, I don't think the stone makes a big difference whatsoever because it's really what matters is who is the next in line, whether they're crowned on a stone or not. I don't think that matters too much.
it was
But if,
William, I think, isn't it? I think William's the next in
yeah,
line. Isn't he?
I, sp- I suppose the thing is though, if they go underground, then they can't be lizards, can they? Because don't lizards like sunshine?
That's right. Yes.
Well, snakes crawl in holes, you know.
Yeah. But I can't understand it that this imposed king, whereas Harold was our last king. Again, he's said to be buried in Waltham Abbey. But why should we look up to this geezer? He's been imposed upon us, and he really has. But isn't it strange that the Stone of Destiny and a few other things from the Holy Land came ashore in Cornwall? And a lot of the fishing villages along the Cornish coast where these things are supposed to have come, the Ark of the Covenant and things like that, have Hebrew names. It's strange. If you
Well,
look
that
along,
was the whole parliamentarians of Oliver Cromwell and the pirates that would go out and loot ships and all this sort of thing were based in Cornwall at a certain point. I know you get ships going back and forth from America, and they'd loot them, pirates from Cornwall.
Oh
So,
yeah, because why there's no trees in Cornwall? Well, there are a few more now, but the Customs and Excise knocked them all down to stop the pirates from hiding, because they used to hide in the forests. So when you go down to Cornwall, there's hardly any trees because they've all been knocked down. And apparently the Cornish used to wash their windows with, I think it was it gin or rum, or one of those, because it's cheaper than water. There's so much piracy going on. So I think Cornwall, I've always looked on Cornwall as my home. I don't know why, because I've got no real family connections as such there to Cornwall. Well, I have by my mother, but that's going a long way back. But I've always looked on Cornwall as my home. It's strange. I don't know why.
It goes back to ancient times. Shipping back and forth and the mining. It was one of the first places where they were mining
mines, yeah.
tin. Yeah.
And do you know why the Cornish pasty is the shape that it is? The true
No.
Cornish pasty is because the tin was poisonous, so they would hold the crust, eat it, and then throw the crust away. So they didn't contaminate themselves. That's why, yeah, they use it as a container. And a true Cornish pasty. Now, is there anybody from Cornwall? Is that either lamb or beef you got to have in it?
Beef. Beef skirt.
Beef. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I should think you get Cornish pasties in America, don't you?
Yeah, we do in certain places. I've never had one here, but I looked it up because I've got a friend in Cornwall, a couple of them. Elvon Kirk is one of them. And they told me a bit about them.
Yeah.
That's where I found out that what they call a rutabaga in America is called a swede over there. You call it a swede, we call it a rutabaga.
Really? Good heavens.
I thought it was carrots when I first saw it. It's an orangish looking thing.
Do you know what the Londoners called people from Devon?
No.
Swede bashers.
Swede bashers. That makes sense.
Yeah, because there used to be a game where the blokes used to stand around in a circle and had this long sort of pole, and they'd have a Swede tied to a lump of rope. That was then the end of the rope was tied to the top of the pole, and they had numbers. The blokes had buckets on their heads with numbers on them, and then you swung this Swede round, and if you wanted to say 5 or something, you had to sort of hit the 5 bucket, and then you get, I don't know quite how the game worked, but there's a lot of people with sort of ringing eardrums afterwards after they get it.
Good cushion, I would think.
Yeah, boy, hitting it by Swede. But what we were saying about earlier, Matilda said Palomino was C&A brand co thing. Was it? I didn't know that.
What is that?
Well, C&A was C&A
was Palomino. What? It's like an off-brand or their own generic brand that they'd carry.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know. I think what she's on about, it's a bit like Marks and Spencer's is St Michael, isn't it? When you see anything with St Michael on it, it means it's from Marks and Spencer's. So it might have been Palomino on everything that was C&A.
Okay, that's kind of like Walmart. They have a generic brand called Great Value in their grocery store.
Ah,
So
Oh, really? It's called
you get the
George,
name brand, and then you have the Great
that's right.
Value brand.
which is a
'Cause
bit weird
as
because
does
every piece of clothing you buy has got the word George stitched in. And you think,
yeah,
oh no, it doesn't. It is mine. It's despite the fact it says George in the back, it ain't actually his.
because Asda is owned by Walmart, I think, isn't it? I think it is
It
an
is, yeah.
Walmart. It used to be. I don't know where it still is. Yeah,
Used to be
yeah.
Carrefour
And they
back
went
in
all
the day.
American, and they didn't. What was it called? Sorry,
Carrefour. Do you remember Carrefour? We had a Carrefour
I
in
don't
town
know
here
that.
that was became Asda.
Oh, used to have Victor Value, and that was taken over by Tesco's. But now Alice Gould said, "I heard Trump is Hillary's cousin."
I've
Ah,
heard that as well.
I've never heard that.
Oh, I remember that.
I wouldn't doubt it. They were friends. They were good buddies before they started running against each other. So it's like
They
any of
probably
these
still are.
politicians.
Mm.
I think Biden and Trump had it planned all along to have Biden go in for a short term because they knew they were going to do what they're going to do in
That's right.
starting wars. It was just, it's just a
It's
shell
an
game.
act. Let's
Yeah,
put
look
it
here,
this
not there.
It's a play. They act out hating each other, and then they look at the politicians in this country.
Yeah, then they
Nobody's
can
hating
blame
each
them
other.
for 4
Pick it up,
years.
have a drink together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's a blame game because then it's like, oh well, Biden screwed up the economy. Blame Biden. It's not me. Blame Biden. And then the next guy gets in, and it's like, blame Trump. Trump did it. Trump did it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's diversion.
All
we
puppets.
got
Good cop, bad cop.
Warhead Rex. Yes, he's doing the salute as well. I can't do it back because I might get arrested. So yes, here we go. Peace. Yeah, the Bush family was not from Texas. This is Stephen Truth Seeker.
Yeah, they're from I think up in Maine.
Really?
Bunkport. I forget the name of the place. It's got a weird name. Up
All
in
part
Maine.
of Skull and Bones, aren't they? Skull and Bones Society. Which I was going to say while we're on air, hope people aren't falling for that stabbing on the train that took place at Huntingdon yesterday.
Oh, I've heard the outline of that, and someone said they're going to have airport type security at train stations.
Oh, there's a surprise. That's interesting. I was saying that to somebody today.
And next will be bus stations. Where else will we have it? Oh, shopping centres. Anywhere else? Going to the public lavatories. So,
Kennebunkport in Maine is where the Bush family has their big compounds set up.
Kennebunkport. Wasn't that where Kennedy Jr. was in his car went into the river or something, and
It might have been.
he legged it? Kennebunkport? I think that rings a bell.
Yeah.
But Warhead Rex said Hebrew is the reconstructed language. Monks tampered with all the modern languages. Gaulish and Hebrew may not be far apart in the linguistic tree. Euphratean.
Euphratean?
Yeah.
You mean
Yeah.
like in the river Euphrates?
I assume
Like
so.
Phoenicians?
Don't know. But it's quite interesting. I've been reading on the Telegram channel. Someone posted up. Was it you, Patrick? I can't remember. Someone posted something where somebody's looked into how the Church of England, the Bible rather, was rewritten by the Rothschilds. Did you post that?
I saw that. That was about the here. It was more important here in America, but it was also based off of the Oxford University Press, and which would have been controlled by the Rothschilds. They control the trust fund that controls the Rhodes Scholarship in Oxford. The Rothschild family does directly, but they printed through Oxford Press a copy of the Bible done by a fella who was a Civil War veteran named C.I. Schofield, and they call it the Schofield Bible. And the footnotes are the real problem with that Bible, but they spent lots of money reprinting it. I mean, it's probably the most popular Bible in America as a consequence because of the amount of printing that they've done of it. But all of these, you've heard of evangelical Christians. They typically follow the Schofield Bible. They call it the Schofield Reference Bible. And he was a charlatan. He was born in the North and fought for the South in the Civil War. So he was born in Michigan and then ended up down in Kentucky, I think it was, and ended up fighting for the South. And then after the Battle of Antietam, which was like one of the worst battles in American history, he defected and he said, "I'm no, I'm actually from the North." So then they told him to get out of here, and he went up to the North and started fighting for the North. And he was very good at forging notes. And after the war, I think it was Cleveland or Garfield, I forget who it was. It was who was I'm trying to think of the Civil War general that became president after Abraham Lincoln. He made
Oh, bloody hell.
Schofield the attorney general of, I think it was Kansas City or Kansas.
I don't know.
And
I know the worst general ever was Ironsides, because Lincoln used to say, and he went wrong, "Oh God, not Ironsides again." So sorry, I took.
it's all right.
We can
It's
talk.
all right.
Carry on. I stole your.
I know a little bit about this history because I follow this fella on YouTube. His name is Peter Helland, and he's very much into learn about the Schofield Reference Bible and the trouble it's caused as a consequence, because it's what they call dispensationalism, and they believe that Jesus failed in his mission on earth, that he was rejected by the Jews, and hence he didn't conquer Satan. He ended up becoming
Yeah.
he failed in his mission, so he has to come again, essentially. And that
the thing
really
is, that's interesting. You carry on, Patrick.
well,
Sorry.
basically what it means is that the Jews that rejected Jesus, the covenant is still valid with them, and that they're God's chosen people still, not the Christians. Even though these evangelical type Christians call themselves Christians, technically they believe that the Jews still are the God's chosen people, even though actual Christians, like I'm a Catholic, and we believe that Jesus created a new covenant that superseded the old covenant, and that the Jews of the Old Testament were waiting for a Messiah, and when the Messiah came, they became Christians. So they went from being Jews, which means someone who expects a Messiah to come. They went from that to, when Jesus appeared, being known as Christians, followers of Christ. And then the ones that rejected Jesus were still known as Jews because they were still expecting a Messiah to come. And the Schofield Reference Bible is more of it's a Protestant. It's based off of more of what you'd call the Puritan type outlook. Like Oliver Cromwell is an example of a Puritan, and they believe that Jesus is coming again, and he's going to set up a kingdom that's going to last for 1,000 years, and there's going to be a rapture where people are brought up into heaven en masse, and it's all sorts of apocalyptic type scenario type thing. But you see these Protestant preachers that are preaching this, especially nowadays. The big one is out of Texas. His name is John Hagee, and you can find these videos online now, especially the last few weeks, where they say that basically they don't have to convert anybody, especially they don't have to convert the Jews. They're not here to convert, and that they still think that Jews are God's chosen people. So that's what the Schofield Bible did. It reinforced that idea. Rather than saying Christ came for everybody and everyone should convert and become baptized and become a Christian, it's saying there's no need for the Jews to become baptized because their covenant is still valid, and they're saved just by their DNA, so to speak, and who they're born into. So that's what the Schofield Bible is, and it was financed by the Rothschilds over in New York City. C.I. Schofield, they had this thing called the Lotus Club, and he met there with people like Mark Twain, the Samuel Clemens. He was a famous writer, wrote Huckleberry Finn, and Tom Sawyer, and these type. And he was given money from the Rothschilds to go start a school in Dallas, Texas, called Dallas
Really?
Theological Seminary, which exists to this day. And it had a lot of, like I said, the Rothschilds backed it with the Oxford University Press, made it the
Yes.
biggest selling Bible in America. And it's
Well,
one of the
well,
reasons.
well.
It's politically, it's one of the worst things that could have happened to us. So there's a lot to that. I forget who posted that, but I was looking at that earlier today. That's
Yeah.
kind of neat.
Well, thanks for filling us in on that. That's bloody interesting. Thanks, mate. That's much appreciated. But Stephen Truthseeker said, was Charles even born when Elizabeth was crowned? Yes, he was born in 1948, and they think the Queen was crowned in 1953. 52, 53, I think it was. So he was definitely born, yes. Now,
And he should have been the king, even though he was such a young man, a child.
you got a good point. You got a very good point. Although I think the Witten is probably a better idea, where you get wise people voting for the next king, who
Agreed.
should be the eyes and the ears of the underdog.
But then again, he might have been a better man if he had been the king to begin with. It might have.
Although that said, do we need these people? Do we really need them?
I agree with you.
I think we could just live free. Do we need people?
We don't need government. We don't need government. We don't need anything like that, I don't think. I think we can live quite happily without government.
As a Catholic, I really don't believe that they're legitimate until they become a Catholic again. But that's neither here nor there.
I don't think they're legitimate. Full stop. I mean, France in a way with their royals and things, but I mean, this idea
in a bloody way. It wasn't It wasn't like the French Revolution was a democratic.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't lose your head over it, But no, seriously though, I think that again, I'm very much against government. I think we should be working. We couldn't do it from stage one and say no, we're not going to have government tomorrow. It would have to be a gradual situation. And it would have to be an interim government that would not be voted in, would just come in and gradually release us from this mindset where you've got to look up to somebody to rule you. And people say, oh, it'd be anarchy. No, because remember, psychopaths started government and brainwashed everyone into believing that we need government. We don't. We've got to be self-responsible. It's a responsibility. That's the thing. And when you look at countries that have less government, or countries that didn't have government for a while, they all prospered and all got on very, very well. Because, I mean, look at that idea I said earlier about having little shops where people can repair things. This is what we need. You go in and someone will repair it and say, yeah, here's the money. I mean, even in India, I haven't been to India, but apparently now I think it's terrible there's such poverty in India. But along the road, there's people that will give you a shave. There's people that will clean your ear out. There's some other people that do this. That are all providing a service.
Do they have Turkish barbers in India?
I don't know. I haven't been there.
Well, I think the problem with India is the whole caste system, which is based on usury.
Yeah.
Where the upper castes are the ones that benefit from that, and the lower castes don't benefit at all, and they work as slaves, worse than slaves. Like, at least as a slave, you get your upkeep taken care of. You're just basically seen as, you're seen as human garbage at a certain point at the lower scales.
Well, it's like the Untouchables, isn't it? The Untouchables used to empty with sewage and do all that sort of stuff, which is horrendous. And I worked with an Indian who said that the British Empire did a lot of good for India because they threw out the caste system, and they raised living. Now I've heard another story that said that before the British Empire, India was extremely rich. I don't know. I wasn't there. So that's the two sides of the story. I don't know. I was even reading up this week, no, it was last week rather, that Stalin wasn't as bad as they say. And it was Trotsky who wrote a lot of bad stuff about him. And historians have grabbed what Trotsky has written, been rather lazy, and
because
just repeated what Trotsky said.
Trotsky was dealing with the West more than Stalin ever did. He lived in the West more than he ever did. So Trotsky ended up in Mexico City, and there.
Oh yeah,
Trotsky. mostly in the West.
Was he the one that got the ice pick through the head, wasn't he? He was
Yeah.
done in? Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't the Hitchens, weren't they Trotskyites at one point in the 60s? Like Peter Hitchens, Christopher
I
Hitchens.
think they were. I mean, let's face it, most people in the 60s and 70s and that were pretty left-wing. I mean, my parents were very socialist in their view, but when you hear the information that they had, and when you look at the situation then, you can't blame them. You see, because it's when we've sort of expanded on the information that we have, you can see things from a completely different perspective. I mean, no, I'm not a socialist, not at all. I believe in freedom of the individual. I think that's
There was a shift though that happened where the left turned to the right and became what's called the Trotskyites were on the left. So you had people like the greatest example right now that's probably the most powerful example is David Horowitz. It was a Trotskyite, lefty liberal in the 50s and 60s. He helped form things like the Black Panthers as an example of him. And then he became what's called a neoconservative. And, it's basically a lot of Jews involved because a lot of Jews were Trotskyites and Bolsheviks before that. But he ended up creating the neoconservative movement with people like Irving Kristol and certain other people at least in America. In the 70s, they really got started, and to the point now where, this Charlie Kirk that was just assassinated, he had this organization called Turning Point USA, where they would go around to college campuses and do like question and answer sessions, polemics, that sort of thing. And he was given, he got his start from David Horowitz, the same guy that started the Black Panthers, the radical leftist type organization in the 60s. And then you've got this supposedly conservative organization. That's why they call it neoconservative, because it's not really conservative. It's just, the wolves in sheep's clothing, saying they're conservative and then pushing the whole LGBT sandwich agenda type thing. And then saying, well, this is the new conservative. In order to be conservative, you got to believe this. It's like the emperor's new clothes. You got to believe that these are the real clothes, when in fact you're just
right
following what you're opposed to.
Well, I think that also Horowitz was friends with Saul Alinsky, who wrote Rules for Radicals, and he was a Marxist, and that's where Obama got most of his training from, wasn't it? He was really into, still is, and as a prime minister, he was very briefly a prime minister, Cameron, and I saw it on his political party website. Now they're supposed to be conservative, which is more right wing, more like Republican, and he was praising Saul Alinsky, who was a Marxist, and they quickly took it down. So it's Saul
That's Alinsky, the deception going on.
Yeah. Now we got here. Where is it? The Queen was a high druid. That's correct. There's a picture of her being crowned.
So was Churchill.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Druids were the original Christians. Now, this is something that Paul English would be into, because he it was the original.
I find that a little bit too ahistorical, but that's because to me, the oldest history of the Druids was Julius Caesar in his book that he wrote. He was the first to mention the Druids, and
really,
I don't. Well, it's like you have the lore too, that Abraham and all this kind of stuff. A lot of the Old Testament stuff took place in England, but it's like, where's the proof? I mean, I really don't see any historical documents that point that out. I think it's a lot of wishful thinking, perhaps, but I don't see proof.
We romanticize about a lot of things. I mean, let's face it, wars are romanticized, aren't they? I mean, especially via Hollywood,
Yeah, no doubt Christianity was up there. Yeah, where you're at in the UK.
And there's a lot of very a lot of strange things. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever seen the film The Wicker Man, which is a
Yeah.
muddle of loads of
There are
loads.
two of them. I've seen the older one, the one from the
Well, the older
70s,
one
60s or
with
70s.
with the man, the actor who Orson Welles described as who has a name like that sounds like a fart in a bath. Edward Woodward.
Wasn't it Christopher Lee? Was he in that?
He was
the
in it as
main
well. Yeah,
character?
yeah. Well, the thing is, it was supposed to be set in Scotland, and they had the Obios in it, and the Obios is Cornish. It's not Scottish, and had
It's
a
supposed to
lot
take
of.
place on an island.
Was it?
I think it was like some isolated island. Yeah.
It was an island, yeah, an
Yeah,
island
yeah.
off the coast of
Cop was
Scotland.
sent out there to
That's it.
research a murder.
Yes. Who else? Peter Sellers' ex-wife was in it as well. What's her name now? Because apparently she didn't do the nude scene. They had a body double do that. Brigitte Eklund, I think it was. She acted the saucy barmaid in it as well. But it was quite a good film. But quite honestly, it's a complete enough a muddle of all kinds of things. Yeah. And apparently Edward Woodward, I like that name, Edward Woodward. He said the bloke who was supposed to carry him up there, the actor was carrying him up to, I think he was an extra, was a huge Scottish chap. He said, and he held him so tight. He said, "Don't hold me so tight. It's bloody agony," sort of.
Wasn't it Edward Woodward who played the Equalizer?
Yeah, yeah.
That was
yeah.
unlike today's the two films or three films with Denzel Washington in.
Yeah, the Equalizer, and it was all a bit sort of. Well, he was a good actor, I suppose. He was pretty good, but typical actor, But now, Stephen Truthseeker said this. Oh, hang on, I lost it. Where is it? Here it is. This is a pagan land. Interesting. Well, we've still got a lot of paganism in this country. They honoured the land and live in honour. This is Alice Gorgeous, which are meant to be Christian principles. No church or priest needed. Yes, that's on the lines of what I think Paul English is saying, isn't it? Now, I think Stephen Truthseeker said, "No, his son is waiting in the wing. He will be a tyrant." Well, you're talking about Charlie Boy's son? I don't know. Now, where we got here? I've missed something from Barefoot Forager. What she said. She's talking about beetroot. Here we are. Barefoot Forager says, "Alice, yes, beetroot alkalizes your urine. Yes, it makes your urine look very red. It's a powerful diuretic, but you also excrete electrolytes which need replacing. Yes, and it's very good for lowering your blood pressure as well. But I'm not a doctor, so I'm just sort of saying it on the side. But apparently, allegedly,
And they make sugar.
Look it up. Yeah, sugar beet.
Molasses.
Now what we got here? Now Hatchy Saxe Coburg. Yes, that's what the Royals were called. Got Andy is now a Battenberg. It's from a bleeding cake, isn't it? Battenberg is a sponge cake. Oh, yeah, he goes on to say that in a marzipan, not a fruity number. And the Lizard is off the coast of Cornwall, so it is one of my favourite places.
I once went to a sugar factory where they made sugar from beets over in Russia, right on the border with Ukraine. It's a little town called Rilsk, or near the town of Rilsk. And it was quite interesting. You'd see fields just as far as your eye could see of beets, just massive fields of beets. I went out to some of these fields where they were planting beets and just saw how they did it. It was just amazing. And then this factory had this huge pool area where they'd dump off all of the beets from the field. They'd still have dirt on them, and they had on the side all of these water cannons that they would just shoot at the big mounds of beets to break up the clumps of dirt and wash all the sugar beets. But one thing about it, it stunk. It was like the worst smell you've ever smelled when they were processing the stuff.
So now interesting because because we used to have a sugar beet factory here, not far from Shrewsbury, and in the autumn time, it was the smell of sugar beet was just an autumnly smell. Oh, it's wonderful. You get that drifting across. That was amazing. Almost as good as smelling creosote. Remember creosote when you used to have somebody paint their
Oh, I
fence?
used to love that. And
Oh,
also,
I wish they could
oil
bottle that.
shops.
We say bottle that.
Mm.
Eau
Oh,
de creosote. Smell it all
I
day.
loved it. What about the smell of oil shops? Remember oil shops? They had a particular smell, didn't they? I think that was creosote.
Yeah, and
You know,
warm tarmac when they've just laid
Mm.
tarmac down. I'm sure they used to think,
Yeah.
"What's these weirdos doing behind this lorry? Just getting high on the
Oh, yeah.
tarmac."
It's supposed to be very
Kind of
good for you, actually, smell
a
of tarmac.
sulfury type smell,
Hmm.
right?
Not
Is
quite,
that
no. Well,
not
well,
quite?
sulfur is rotten eggs, isn't it? That's the smell of sulfur. No, it's
Yeah,
just
well, it was a certain pool that smelt that way where they were fermenting it. So fermented would have been different than smelling fresh beets because it would have smelled sweet. And I guess it
ah,
just depends on what stage it was in. But the factory itself was interesting because it was built by Germans, and they say any of the factories that were still running from the Soviet days were all built by German engineers and German workers from World
really?
War II prisoners that came to Russia to work. There
Good
were plenty of
heavens.
them.
Did any of them stay behind, marry sort of
Yeah,
Russian women?
yeah, I forget the name of the Germans. They call there's a specific ethnic name that they have for them that moved to Russia and stayed there because
Really?
they're not quite Ruski type people.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so it's different, a different sort. Like for instance, Solzhenitsyn,
mm,
he doesn't look like a normal German, or he doesn't look like a normal Russian, like a Ruski,
mm.
and he didn't even speak like one. I think he might have been one of those type of German families that
Really?
had moved into the Russian Empire. There are all sorts of ethnic groups in Russia that aren't just Ruski type people.
Oh, yes, it's got loads of ethnic groups. I mean, but we've got lots of ethnic groups in this country as well. Where if you take, originally, because before we had this mass, shall we say, invasion, uh, and we had, like Cockneys, they were like a tribe. And they go back, they originate, I believe, from gypsies, and they can originate from India. So, but Warhead Rex said Andy Summers, who is a member of certain people we're not allowed to criticise, wrote The Wicker Man, underlying deep fear of ritual whites. Now, that's interesting.
Ritual what?
Rural
Whites.
White?
whites.
Oh, rural
Rural
white.
rights. Rural. I'm terribly sorry.
All right.
It's my eyesight. Rural rights. Yes, I'm terribly sorry. Yeah. So underlying fear of rural whites. Hmm.
Oh, maybe
Not many people know
Christians.
that.
Because he was a Christian. Wasn't that the point that the guy claimed
Well,
to be
it
a
was.
Christian? What are they doing
That's
doing
right.
this?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, that's right. And
well, that makes
but,
sense.
hmm. But
The
no.
old blood libel.
Yeah. Yes.
We could go into
Uh,
that, but I don't want to get you banned.
yes, I agree with you. Yes. The Wicker Man. This is Asperger's Fudge said, "The Wicker Man, one of my favourite films and dance scenes for that matter." Yes, and apparently they wore body stockings in that. They weren't starkers, so that's something I heard about that. The ancient druids are all murdered and omitted out of history. Yes, yes, that's probably the thing. Uh,
Or they converted
hmm.
to Christianity, what they'd call Celtic Christians or Gaelic.
Yes, and now we've got Terrell 57. Hello, Terrell 57. Oh, restart your computer now. No, I won't. So go away. Sorry, that's it. First time. This is bloody irritates me with Windows. First time catching a live one. Hope everyone is having a good weekend. That's very kind. Yes.
Indeed. What that
Everyone.
restart means, Chris, is we're going to screw up your computer a bit more. That's what
Yes.
it usually means.
Yeah.
That's what the updates usually mean.
Yeah. A bloody your computer runs really slow. Then you do the update, and afterwards it runs very, very slow. I'm sick of micro shit. I really am.
But don't you think
And I'm
that this is? Do you not think this is going to be the issue going back to the car thing with electric cars? That people will plug them into their house, whatever, at home. It'll obviously takes down information about you when you plug it in.
That's right.
Is it going to get to a point where it says you need to do an update, and you're going to do the update, and then the battery will say, "Oh, you've only got half the amount of power now because the update has screwed your battery up. You'll need to do another update to replace that." And you can see where it's going. They're
Oh,
basically
you
just
can
like
see it.
computers, aren't they?
Well, I
Crap.
had this bright idea. I thought, well, hang on, electric cars, they're coming down in price, especially second-hand ones, and apparently there's now firms starting which can actually keep them on the road very, very cheap. Because when a cell goes, they'll just replace the cell. So I thought, well, hang on a minute. If you had a generator that you shoved in the back of the car, you wouldn't worry about, running out of battery power. You just on with the old generator, and there you go. You can have a cup of
It'd be
tea.
like a
You know what?
Prius. Like a
Yeah,
Toyota Prius, they do that. They
that's
have
right.
it's half electric, half generator, diesel generator, and it
There is
just
an obvious
runs
choice
off
on
the
that though,
generator.
and that would be just to have a diesel car.
Well, I
You never
agree
need
with you.
electric then.
But then you get away with the old road tax because it won't no longer be free, but it was very, very cheap. It will be cheaper. And but apparently you have a diesel or you have a petrol generator, you can have it on for a couple of hours and all you get is 5 miles extra.
But you know,
I'll-
what the funniest thing is that in town here, they've just put in about 20 EV spaces, right, for people, for the morons to go and park their cars and charge them, and the chargers are connected to a diesel generator.
That's right, yeah. That's similar to me, yeah.
So they're saving the planet by connecting their electric car to a diesel generator. Well, instead of a diesel car, you'd probably
the
cost
exhaust,
less
the
than
exhaust
using that.
for the environment. That puts CO2 into the environment. The trees love that.
I know that.
Vegetation loves it. So
Ex-
it's very green.
And
When you think
diesel
of
is the
it,
greenest lot. And diesel, you can run diesel on any bleeding thing, you can run it on rapeseed oil, you can run it on sunflower oil, any
used
oil you want.
used frying oil from restaurants. I know a guy that used to do that, Mopar type stuff. He set up his diesel to run off of fry grease oil.
So,
He'd
well,
go to Mexico and back and just stop at restaurants all along the way, fill up.
well,
Did it-
I know somebody that runs he had a diesel engine, and somebody comes on the show occasionally, but I won't say because the police will be around his house. And he actually ran his car on diesel and put vegetable oil in it.
Yeah,
And
why not?
he pulled up the lights once, and the girl said, "Oh, it's a nice smell of a fish and chip shops," because it smelled of fish and chip shops. And she, "Oh yeah,
Efficient.
must be around here somewhere." It's in the summer's day sitting there. And these girls are looking for a fish and chip shop, and he's coming out of his exhaust, the smell of fish and chips.
Well, don't you think it's interesting that the McDonald's, obviously other poisonous restaurants are available, that on the
Yeah.
side of their trucks it says, we use the same oil to cook the food to power our trucks. Now, I'm not being funny, but I wouldn't
Soy.
consider a human body to be the same as a diesel engine. I
Precisely.
could be wrong, but because if that's the case, then next time I need to go down to the doctors, I'll take a diesel engine with me and say, "Can you check that out? Because it's not working."
Well, you essentially could run your diesel off of lard, off of pig fat,
Oh yeah,
tallow. Why not?
really? Because
Interesting.
I know there was
Why
a
not whale
farmer
blubber
running his
for that
car on
matter?
chicken manure.
Chicken manure.
Yeah.
See, the best
Well,
thing
there
would
was a
be.
kit.
Oh, go ahead. I'll tell you after this.
No, please go ahead. No, I chimed in. If you go
Well,
ahead.
it's going
Sorry.
to kind of derail the subject back to the fuel cell type thing for the electric vehicles, because what you need to do is get fuel cells that run off of propane or natural gas that convert it to electricity. You get these cells that have like membranes that convert the gas into electricity, and or you could use pure hydrogen, for instance. Hydrogen fuel cell is what it's
Yeah.
called. And it takes the hydrogen,
Well,
converts it to electricity, and then
Sure.
it spits out water, and that's the exhaust.
Well, the West is advanced in hydrogen fuel cells, but this won't happen because it's political. Because the Chinese are pumping out battery cars like they're going out of fashion. and batteries, solar and all this sort of stuff. But I know in America, where you are, not necessarily where you are, I think it's over in California, you get this blatant great folding solar thing that you shove over the top of your car, and it charges it up. Well, that's fine in the sunshine state of California.
Right.
But if you're in rainy old Britain, you're going to get sod all sun.
Or in January, Wisconsin. Wisconsin,
that's right.
Be below, and the battery efficiency drops like, you put a battery in freezing cold weather, it's not as efficient as in warm weather.
Well, exactly.
I agree with you.
That brings on something which is much more sinister with these electric vehicles, in that if you're somewhere like, I don't know, the middle of Scotland in the middle of January and there's a snowdrift on the road and you can't get anywhere, the road's blocked for hours on end. If you've got your petrol or diesel car running, you can keep warm. But we all know if you've got something that's battery powered, in the cold weather, the battery drains like
just to
quickly.
Heat the car.
Yeah. So at some point, people are going to freeze to death because they're not going to be able to keep warm because the battery will have died in the car, and then the driver will follow suit.
That's happened.
I agree with you.
It happened.
Yeah. But the trouble is that, battery cars, I think what they're going to do, they're going to make it more and more difficult to get fuel stations. So they'll force you to have a battery car. And I was looking at the BMW i3 and I thought, well, that's interesting because the older ones had a 2-stroke engine in it. So when you got a bit low on your battery, this engine would start up and give you a bit of extra mileage. So you get about, another 80 miles out of it. But you had a very small petrol tank. But again, it's all a load of oojaby where you don't need it. It's overcomplicated. The internal combustion engine, they've got to a point now where they've perfected it. And it goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And when you look at cars in the 1980s, they just went and went and went. They just carried on going. And diesel engines are fantastic, as you said. Now, Ricardo Alejandro Blake said, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I'm all about religion, but the Eastern religions are so backwards with their treatment of their women and children, plus forced arranged marriages, and don't agree with their age of consent. Yes, that's an interesting point. Yes. Was it it used to be something low in this country. People got married at 15 and 16 years ago.
You go back far enough. It wasn't uncommon, 14, 16.
Yeah. Well, they didn't live very long, now, hang on, we're talking about Germans that live in Russia, kulaks, and Terrell.
Kulaks, I think, were the farmers that were the rich farmers. I don't think there's another name for it. I forget what it is.
Volga Germans, I think.
Maybe. Yeah, that's it.
And that was Terrell 57. Vulgar Germans. They come walk along and say, hello, you're bloody horrible, you are. They're vulgar, I
like that comment from Jojo Gizmo. It's tickled me, that has.
Where's that? I'm just looking down.
Last but one. About the moped.
Well, that one, I remember the Viz comic cartoon about a guy who had a monkey spunk moped.
You wouldn't be. The trouble is, you wouldn't know if you were coming or going, would you?
No, you wouldn't. Well, it's like the bloke asked a girl out, and he said, "Fancy coming home with me?" And she said, "I'm on my menstrual cycle." He said, "It's okay. I got a Lambretta. I'll be able to keep up with you." Sorry. Where is it? Oh, it's Nathan. Now, I reckon we could superpower a car engine with that stuff. Yes, we could actually. But what about flatulence? With the amount of vegetarian food we're going to have, you can get into your car and have like a pipe you attach to your backside after you've had your greens and your insects.
Built into the seat.
That's right.
Yeah.
You see, You see
Vacuum.
drivers going, "Oh."
You can almost picture the scene, can you? You're both sat at a set of red traffic lights, and
Yeah.
one's got a tin of baked beans and the other's got a load of peas. Come on, then, let's see who gets to the next set the fastest.
Well, you could call it a poped, couldn't you? Is there a moped? Sorry, yes. But, oh, hang on. I got this one. Terrell 57 says, vulgar Germans. I've got images of Sid James in lederhosen. But the funny thing is that now talking about this is Mark Ennis says dump Microsoft and move over to Linux. Yes, it's way better. Yes,
Get a
no
Mac.
button.
I love. I'll only buy Apple computers.
Really.
Yeah. And if I
I've
needed
got
to
an
run Mac, or if I needed to run Windows or Linux, I could run Linux or Windows, no problem.
Really?
Well,
That's interesting.
the Apple logo links back to the Garden of Eden, by the way. That's
Yeah,
what the white out of the
Yeah.
apple is.
I know.
But,
The place I bought my first Apple laptop computer was First Tech Computers in Minneapolis, and they were the ones that sold the first Macintosh for $666.
Yes.
So, yeah, I know.
I think that's the software is pretty solid because
That's because they keep it all in house. That's because you have to. There's you can say it's great to have a Wild West software engineering type of mentality, but there's something about the fact that you have to get it approved centrally. I think it's a good thing. I think when it comes to that sort of thing, programming, it's good to have the centralization because then you're less likely to tolerate viruses and bugs and all these other things. Yes, and yes, there are bugs that, like, for instance, I just updated to the newest OS X, and there's something to do with the audio thing, the sample rate setting that makes it wonky. But that's rare. I've hardly ever had problems with Macs. You don't get the viruses. You don't have to sit and update every time and shut down the computer. So I like them.
That's good. I mean, I've got an iPad. That's pretty good. It goes like the clappers. But I think that the only downside of the Mac is if it goes wrong, you have to send it away to be repaired. You have to go to a proper Mac dealer. Whereas with the PC, you can repair it yourself. You unslot the.
Yeah, but even there, I've had Macs and never had to repair them. I don't think I've had to repair one in a long time. It might have been one or two times. I might have on an early Mac that I had. Never had real problems like that. They're good. I'd get a Mac Mini if you're going to get any sort of computer. It's their cheapest model. And that's what I run. I run the radio station off of it. Run it 24/7.
So Mac Mini, is it a very small sort of thing? Is it a very?
Yeah, it's like palm size square or square type thing. Maybe like the size of a couple knuckles on your finger.
Now, regarding diesel engines, Barefoot Foreigner said, should we be putting these diesel oil substitutes in our bodies though?
No.
No.
No, I don't think so. Rapeseed oil, sunflower oil. It's just shite in it, basically.
Well, it's like McDonald's. They used to fry all of their chips, their French fries, in beef tallow up until 1992, and then they switched over to pure soybean oil. It's just terrible. Soybean oil is terrible. I mean, soy maybe as good as soy sauce or soy. Like you can eat soybeans, but not the way that they do it, where it's just processed into petroleum type substances.
Well, that's
grease.
That's right. We're going to have food. I mean, for example, I was talking to Dr. Myhill last week, and we had a cracking show. So please go on to it. It's on the YouTube and that. And she was talking about dairy. Doesn't have dairy in that. And I do like a drop of milk in my tea and coffee. And so I went over to these oat milk substitutes. I thought, that tastes all right. But then I looked at what's inside it. And I normally check And the first or second ingredient is rapeseed oil,
Yeah.
which is tractor oil. And sunflower oil is another one. And oats are not that good for you. So
The only
you
one
know,
I had that was actually anything decent, Rude Health, although they're owned by Coca-Cola, I think.
are they?
Rude Health used to do or they're owned by one of the brands, Danone or something like that. They used to do a coconut milk, and it was literally coconut, a little bit of sea salt, and spring water, and it was a really nice, refreshing drink, and nice in teas. Although I'm now back on the old cow juice these days because it's 'cause I'm no longer in that world. But yeah, things like Oatly and so on, they're a bit. There's a lot more ingredients in them than just oat and milk.
Well, that's right. Right. And my view now is if it's got ingredients, I don't want it. That's it. You know, I don't.
If it's got more than 4 or 5 ingredients, it's probably not worth eating.
I agree with you. I
But if you
100%
need a
agree with you.
science degree to know what the ingredients are,
Oh
then
yeah.
yeah, definitely avoid them. Like this with the vaping,
Mm.
the amount of chemicals. Vaping, I still don't understand why. We're gonna end up with a load of people with tumors that can't be repaired and so on.
Or
Just-
popcorn lung, they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It-
And the smell is so synthetic. It's somebody who's walking along in front of me the other day, and I was like it's strawberry, but it wasn't a nice strawberry smell. It was a synthetic strawberry smell. You know.
Makes your eyes sore when they blow at you or whatever. Like if I'm on the bus and stuff like that, and somebody's vaping on board, it makes your eyes stink because of the chemicals are in it. Horrible stuff.
Well, the thing is that Stephen's Truth Seeker said, "What's happened to rice milk? Can't get it anymore." Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, and see another one, sheep's milk. You used to buy that in the supermarket. You can't get it now. Don't know
Just
why.
avoid bull's milk.
Put milk in the bowl.
Yes, you get a mouthful with that, wouldn't you? It's very up and coming milk, though. Apparently, so they say.
Very good.
Now, Nathan said, "What happens to rice?" Hang on. What? Oh, hang on. No, sorry, I got the wrong one here. Where are we? Pressing the wrong bleeding buttons. Here we go. But if I eat soy, this is Nathan Lucius, it will make me into a soy boy. Then
A
I'll
soy
have
boy.
to be all woke and stuff. Ah. But I think,
There's a lot of comedy that could be made of that.
yeah.
Soy.
Now, Gary Davis, sorry. I'm my funny. I'm collecting for eczema research. Scratch cards are available. I don't know. It's just gone.
Yeah, tell you what though, we've not gone down the toilet humour for a while. I know
Haven't we?
Stephen
No.
mentioned Stephen Truth Seeker mentioned we got onto toilet humour. It's been a while. I mean, I think the word fart wasn't mentioned until at least 80 minutes in.
But by the way, have you seen that geezer? Is he the Home Secretary? He's got a face that looks like a fart. You know, sort of. He was the one that suggested that we have train stations are going to be like airports. You know, have to go through security and all that bullshit. You know.
Bernadette is the answer to Alice Gorgeous's question, by the way.
What was yes. What do you call a woman that sets fire to her bills? Yes. And also, what do you call a man with no arms and no legs who swims the channel?
Drowned, I would think.
A clever dick. Now, Nathan says, "Are our ruin the milk market with toxic pharmaceutical crap?" And did you know that the Milk Marketing Board and milk people, in the Victorian times and Edwardian times, people didn't drink that much milk, and it was only in the First World War they pushed milk, and they got government recognition, and that's how they pushed things, and that's how you got people regularly drinking milk. But before First World War, not that many people, any country people that drank milk apparently.
Well, I don't
So,
understand why we drink the milk of another species anyway.
Hmm?
I mean, we're not
Oh,
cows, are we? We're
cheese.
not calves.
Cheese is good. Hey, I'm the minister of cheese here now. I got to defend
Yes,
the practice. Come
yes.
Sorry, I'm not trying to put you out of business there, Patrick. How is the
But-
cheese business going?
on, not too bad.
Yes, mind you, butter is very good for you because it's butymine, isn't it? Butyl, because it's something to do with the lining of your intestines.
Butter is,
that, so.
yeah.
And in the Bible, it was the land of milk and honey was the promised land. So just remember that.
Hmm.
And honey,
Yes.
comes from bees.
Yeah.
So the sugar aisle and the dairy aisle in our local supermarket is heaven.
And I was at Stephen Truth Seeker says, I don't know, I go away for 5 minutes and it's turned into toilet humour hour. Yes, do you hear about the bloke who goes into a restaurant and he says, can I have a menu, please? He says, I'll have some piss holes, please. Mate says, piss holes? He says, yeah, piss holes, there it is. He said, no, sir. You're misreading the P and the R. He said, you're misreading the R as a P. He says, so he says, oh, all right then. So he says, all right then. He said, I'll have some arseholes then, please. So terrible, wasn't it? Now we got somebody come out against your Mac. So can you put your fingers over the Apple Mac's ears, please, Patrick? It says here, Warhead Rex says, any Python coder can compromise Apple products.
Okay.
That's it.
How about Windows? How about Linux? I think any of those could be compromised as well. But
I used to have when I changed my computer, I haven't loaded it on yet. But I used to run Linux, and it is bloody good. You can't get viruses on it because there's so many people working on it. Someone puts a virus on it, is zapped almost immediately. So
So do you not think that sort of goes against Bill Gates as well? Because I mean, he was out there promoting vaccines and other toxic shite, and yet his computers get viruses.
Got a good point there, haven't you? Yes, very good point.
And another thing is I can partition my hard drive and run Linux off of this machine. So it's not a matter of.
I used to do that. I used to have a dual boot, so you could go into Windows or Linux. Ubuntu I used to run because Ubuntu is the most common of the lot. You can get everything for Ubuntu, and it's very good. Solid as a bleeding rock, I tell you that. What we got? Alice Gould says, what do you call a man and woman who go fishing? I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that one.
Now, come on. So what is it, Alice? We don't know what it is. Sorry, I'll try to focus. Is it? Now Stephen Truthseeker says, I didn't know you could get a mini Mac.
Yeah, it's called a Mac Mini.
What about a Flasher Mac? Sorry.
A what?
A Flasher Mac. Yeah. Nathan says, oops, hang on. It's gone again. Yeah. You're getting as bad as Paul for jokes. Yes. Yeah.
Well, you've only told one tonight.
Yes. What was the other one? Another bloke in the same restaurant goes in. He says, now hang on. Let's see if I remember this one. What is it now? It's called, oh, God, bloody hell, I can't remember. It's years old. No, sorry. I've lost the punchline. I can't remember the bleeding punchline.
I did. Well, while we're on the subject of jokes, I did have a knock on the door downstairs earlier on, and I went down. There was a caterpillar there, and he punched me in the face. And I came back upstairs, called the police, and I said, "I've just been attacked by a caterpillar down on my front door." And The copper said, "Yeah." He said, "There's a nasty bug going around at the moment."
Oh, bloody hell.
So there you go, Nathan. There's one that's loaded.
I'm just trying to find. I can't remember the bloody punchline. It's a sodding joke. It's years old. No, it's gone. Oh, I'll probably come back later. Warhead Rex says soybeans should always be bacteria fermented. Otherwise, otherwise you end up with bloody hell. What's this? I can't even begin to pronounce that. Zonodonos. Anyway, that
Xenoestrogens.
And them as well.
Estrogens as in female hormones.
Never eat them raw. So there we are. So what, do you grow big boobs and things?
Soy chest.
Yes.
For men.
Yes.
It's not very attractive.
Yes. Now, Asperger's for fudge says, Alice Gould. Oh, hang on. Alice Gould just says what do you call a man and a woman that go fishing? The answer is rod and a net.
Okay.
You can hear tumbleweed blowing right now.
Yes. I think you should put that one back into the cracker where it came. So, it says Asperger's for fudge. It says, what do you call a man with no arms and no legs who doesn't swim the channel? Dirty ass. Sorry. Now, Nathan says, sorry, Paul, missed that one. On a coach at the minute, and signal's gone daft. Oh dear. I'm sorry for that.
What's Nathan doing these days? He's taking buses and coaches now. Like he'll see. Hey, if you keep on, Nathan, you might actually get to a thing called a train.
Yes. He's supposed to be on I think he's coming on the show tomorrow. So you better hurry up, mate. Yeah, he's coming. He's on the show. He's the guest tomorrow, although he doesn't know it yet. And yeah, I got that one there. But no, when we're going back to this, what we're saying, going backwards to go forwards. When you look at things, say from the 60s and the 50s, wasn't there quality? A lot of quality. Like, for example, the films were good quality. The acting was good quality. Cars were bloody good, solid as a bleeding rock. You had a Ford or a Buick. It was built like a sodding tank. But you get cars, especially American cars, they were really built well. But cars now, they're as flimsy as anything. They're sort of...
Isn't it all about, in speech marks, safety these days? That if you happen to have an accident, that your car will save you. Well, maybe if cars weren't built to save you, people would drive with a bit more respect of others rather than driving like maniacs a lot of the time and making last minute decisions and pulling out on people with inches to spare.
You're right, and I'll tell you something else. Now, hang on. Nathan says, don't get me bloody started on buses. Trains too expensive. So there we are. And I'll tell you what gets me. They say, oh, it's more eco-friendly to get on a bus. The amount of times I've sat behind a bloody bus and there's got loads of diesel fumes pumping out of it. Polluting everywhere.
You're not supposed to be sucking on the exhaust.
Well, yeah, but remember, I got a smart car, so you sit there. So,
you know those things on either side of you. If you put them up, the windows. If you put them up, the fumes don't come in. Then it's easy.
Yes,
easy.
Yes, but you see what you have, especially if you've got trouble with you've got a smart car. When you phone up for insurance, you always get the same question: have you had a history of mental illness, sir? Sorry.
You bought what? We've got a Robbery Reliance here for you.
There's a blatant nutter on here. He's got a smart car, yeah, but no,
I wouldn't bother insuring it. No one's going to nick it.
There's a thing called in the winter, the windows are fully wound, fully up, because it's electric windows. And you sit there, and of course, you've got the heater on, which is sucking air from the outside. It sucks all the bloody diesel fumes in. So you've got to open the windows, so it's going You know. Now, Nathan says, got the ×5 X5 from Milton Keynes to Oxford last weekend. Looking late and bloody cold. Didn't get in till after 12 a.m. You poor sod.
So was
Yes,
there lots of traffic on the road? Was there what was the hold up on? It's I suspect the bus was probably on time, but it left its starting point. It's usually down to traffic. You need to get more cars off the road and get more people
Well,
onto public transport.
do you know what they've done in Luxembourg? They've actually now this is an bloody good idea. They've implemented free transport, and the amount of road hold-ups is literally gone. The amount of traffic on the roads halved because it's free transport, and because
Yeah.
it's free, people say, "I'll sod that. I'll go by bus." But the trouble is, I mean, what is it though about buses? I mean, about sitting amongst a load of people coughing and farting and sitting on a seat that someone's vacated that might have had running sores, you know. I mean,
Well,
I
I
like to
suppose.
sit in my own car, picking my nose and listen to me Wagner and
Yeah,
put
I
me.
was just
But
thinking
haven't
about that. You need to have a good cleaning crew between shifts.
but haven't you just described the same thing as if you buy a second-hand car? I mean, you don't know what cretins had that car before you purchased it, and the same with the people who walk around in towns. I mean, you see some of the people who get out of cars, and you think, well, I wouldn't dribbling and all sorts of stuff. It's
Yeah.
one of them things, isn't it? It's
You still can clean the seat. I mean, when I got my car, I cleaned it all out. It's all nice and clean, you know. And then I had my bogies around the bottom of the seat instead of somebody else's bogies around the bottom of the seat. Well, I christened it because I farted in it, so there's no smell of fart. By the way, my sister, now, I haven't seen my sister for 15 years because we don't get on, but she used to, you know, those 1970s sort of tubular seats that they used to have with no arms. Well, I used to, whenever I go to see my sister, I think it was nerves, I don't know what it was. I used to get the farts. Just don't know why. I just got the farts, and I used to sit in her, and she had this brown seat, and I used to sit there and do these sort of depth charge farts. You know, the ones sort of, and, and she said she felt ill one day because it's like a settee it was, but without arms. And she laid on this settee and always threw up because all she could smell was my farts. And she felt worse. But that's the thing with a keto diet. You don't fart. It's quite amazing. It is. You just very rarely fart. It's amazing. Now we got here. Let's go back here. Stephen Truthseeker says, "Well, he's not worth going. Well, he's not going to. This is about the bloke with no arms and no legs swimming the channel. Well, he's not going to wipe his arse with his feet. It might be arse over elbow. That's right. Yes. Now Nathan has said, looking equals boring, but my phone's a retard. Auto incorrected. Yes, and my phone keeps. I don't know what it is. You know, it's gone. It's now got only 20% left spare inside it, and I keep clearing out all the shit and things like that. But it still builds up a load of crap. Does your smartphone do that? Just builds up crap all the time.
What do you mean
yes.
build up crap?
Well, you know, it just fills up with stuff. I don't know quite why.
Fills
And-
up with stuff?
Well, you know, it says I've only got 20% left.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
You need to buy the bigger hard drive phone.
Oh,
Spend the money. Then you don't have to worry about that.
well, I got a Nokia. It's
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, it is. I like Nokias. People say, "Oh, yeah, Nokia." No, it's a smartphone, but it's very good.
Speaking
Now-
of the man with no legs or arms, there's a movie from the 30s called Freaks. Have you ever seen that about circus
Never
freaks?
heard of it. No.
I think it was Todd Browning or Tom Browning. Todd Browning, I think, was the director. And then they had in it. It's all about circus freaks like pinheads and bearded ladies and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's one where it's this black guy and he's got no arms or legs, but there's a scene where he rolls a cigarette with his lips and lights it with his,
Really?
all with his lips. It was just amazing. It's amazing to see.
He actually didn't have arms and legs, or
No arms, no legs. Yeah, they used actual circus freaks for the movie.
good heavens, these poor souls. I mean, it really. I find it very upsetting to see people disabled. I really do. I feel for them. It's
Yeah.
Especially people that had been, say, conscripts in a war, and they've been made that way, not through their own. It's.
But I think the agenda with with the thing beginning with V is also partly to blame with a lot of the illnesses that go around, and
I agree with you.
all the damage that's done to people and all the rest of it. It's, we know it comes from those, and not from they would be born potentially fully healthy, and it's only the system that changes them. Basically, that's my opinion
Well,
anyway.
go into a supermarket now, and I just look around, and all it seems to be is poisons, because all it is high carbohydrate crap. And when you see the way, I mean, when you look at how healthy people were, and again going backwards to go forwards, the first thing we've got to look into is proper food, because people really did look healthy years ago. You just look at them, these street scenes. People are skinny. There's no obese people around. Now it's full of obese people, loads of them.
That's the other thing to get rid of, isn't it? In Big Pharma, get rid of Big Pharma. We don't
Maybe
need
also transportation. It was not as developed. As a consequence, you had to walk a lot more.
That's
People
right.
who walk have better health typically.
Well, that's it. I mean, what gets me is where I live. It's a little bit out of the way, and people jump in their car to go down the road to buy something, and then come back again. They've only gone a couple of miles. Well, I'll walk it, or I'll go by bike. I won't start my car up because it's not worth it, because it kills a combustion engine to just go a couple of miles, because it doesn't even get warmed up. But I'll tell you what I'm finding now: road ups. Now, there's a station, Theobald Station, where I live. No, it's not that near. It's about several miles away. And I went to see Miles the other day in his shop. It would normally take about 20 minutes to get there. It took me an hour and a half. And all it was due to is some traffic lights have been removed. Well, I don't know what's going on. There's no roadworks, and they've got temporary traffic lights on. And it's causing this massive tailback. Well, why can't somebody sort something out? And it's going back miles.
But that goes back to this with the stabbing on the train. It's all there to stop us travelling. That's what their aim is.
You're moving from a high trust society to a low trust society.
Yeah, they don't want.
Instead of these traffic lights, they should have yield signs where it's like, this is suggested. You yield and you look both ways and go. But if it looks like there's no traffic, you can just roll right through. They don't trust people enough. It's all going to be stop signs or stop lights.
And as I said several times, I don't believe in the driving test. I don't believe you should have a driving license. You can just drive if you want to, because I think the roads will be a heck of a lot safer if people were more responsible. I really do believe that. And this is, but Nathan says, arrived at Milton Keynes Coach Park. Oh, you poor sod. I spent 50 years in Milton Keynes one Sunday afternoon trying to find my way out of the bleeding place. That's before we had sat-nav. I felt like it, going round and round and round, thinking, I passed that a few moments ago, didn't I?
Yeah, never ask for directions, because it's well, whereabouts are you? Well, I can see some trees, a roundabout, and a boulevard. Yeah. You're in Milton Keynes. Just go drive straight. You'll eventually end up at Bedford or.
Bloody hell! Well, I ended up going north when I should have been going sort of east. Milton Keynes Coach Park, 30 minutes late. Sorry to disappoint, Paul. Stagecoach still sucks. Yeah.
Well, stick a complaint in. That's all I can say. Yes. Is it if it's down to, I understand the transport system a lot, and they don't usually give the drivers a lot of time to make the time back up. So I suspect that coach will have set off first thing in the morning on time, and it'll be traffic that have caused it to be late.
Well, this is the idea in Luxembourg, and we could do it on an island where they've got free transport, and the roads are actually empty, and they're improving on their transport because if a person goes along and they can expect a bus every 10 minutes, it'll be there. You know.
That's something when I did Switzerland a few years ago.
Mhm.
If you use the SBB website, the Swiss Railway website, it gives you because the same operator also owns the buses as well.
Mm.
Not only does it tell you which trains will be busier than others, so where you'll get more chance of getting a seat than not, but you can also put in the connections. So, for example, if I'm traveling from Basel to somewhere outside Zurich, it'll give you the bus connections as well, and the trains and the buses meet, and it works. Unlike in the UK, where like come
Mm.
evening time, the train arrives at 6 o'clock, and the bus has gone at like 17:58.
Yeah.
It's not, and that boils down to politicians, because politicians wanted it to be for them to compete with each other, and that's not how public
Mm.
transport works. Public transport should be used to connect, and you should have connections, and
Mm.
that's where it fails, and one of the reasons why it fails.
I agree with you. I 100% agree. Japan runs their transport system at a loss, but they realise it's an integral part of the infrastructure of their country. That's why they keep it going. And I mean, I personally don't like public transport because I quite like being in my own sort of little world in my own car. Just that's the way
Yeah.
I am. I don't know. Is it similar with you, Patrick? You just like to be in your own little world in your car. I don't want to sit in a room full of a box
Well,
full of people
we don't have
farting
a
and
choice.
scratching.
If you don't have
Mm.
a car here, you're I
Mm.
don't know what you do unless you're living in a town near where you work and you got access to groceries and
Mm.
the things you need. If you're living out in the rustic areas, you can't do much of anything.
Well,
We used to have a
right.
train, and you'd be able to go into the cities to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and then go up
Mm.
to Duluth, Superior, and then you could connect to any train going anywhere in the country. But now they took out all the rail off of it, and it's just a bike trail or a snowmobile trail in the
I
wintertime.
did round here.
Kinda
Yeah, Beeching
useless.
did it. Beeching, who was an American, incidentally, he actually I think it's 1963. He cut all the railway lines, and there's loads of places which are now bikeways and footpaths that were actual railways, and and they put all the traffic, all the shall we say, where they used to go by train, it went by lorry because
Yep.
it's all to do with lobbying and money and things like that. So
Yeah.
our roads got clogged up with lorries where it used to all go
Yeah.
by train.
Well, they had bus
The
service that took over here,
Mm.
and then that went away.
Beeching's legacy is, if you're sat on the M6 in a traffic jam, that's his legacy.
I
Because
agree with you.
I mean,
Mm.
I know they're starting to reopen up some of the lines that were closed back in the day, and there's certainly ones that it was very political in
Oh, it
that
was.
they'd have people going and surveying stations at like midday. Well, that's not your peak time. You go and do your surveys at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then see what the traffic's like.
Mm.
And there's certainly lines that they should have kept open. Like, for example, where I live, there used to be a line from Wellington across to Stafford,
Mm.
which the bus now does exactly the same route because that was deemed as cheaper. But now, when the West Coast screwed up because of overhead wire problems or whatever, the trains could be routed Shrewsbury, Wellington, Stafford, and there'd be no problem. But because they took that bit of track out, that bit of line out, it screws it all up. So they just cancel the trains because that's the easiest way to do it for them.
Oh, yeah. It's all to do with another thing that gets me is this just in time idea. So, there's no stocks of anything. It's just everything is just in time.
Right.
It's just, I mean, to me, things should go by rail. It's the most efficient way of sending things around. And, I
And
think
build
that,
up stock.
I mean, it's like what they do now. They go, especially in towns, like, we've got to make facilities for push bikes. No, what they can't get into their thick skulls is cars and bikes don't mix. And if then there's loads of wide pavements where they can divide it up, where the push bike and pedestrians can be perfectly safe going along on these pavements. Oh no, they'll do a bleeding bike lane, which is ridiculous, totally ridiculous. things like that. It's all to frustrate the motorist. It's loony. But Alice Gorgeous says, we live in a throwaway society. My parents had the same sofa, kitchen, curtains, etc., all their married life. So did my parents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, hang on. Now we've got one here. What is it now?
I was going to say, if more stuff went by rail, if everything went by rail, things would be a lot cheaper, because you only pay one driver rather than 20, 30, 40 lorry drivers, plus all the tax and MOTs and fuel and all. It's a no-brainer, really, when you think about it. Rail is the cheapest option, and although I don't believe in the climate change crap, it's also the most efficient, because there's far less friction on railway lines than any other form of transport.
Well, Stephen Truthseeker has said roadworks are all part of the satanic agenda. I agree, because those roadworks, when what got
social
me,
engineering.
People that would only know this if they live locally, but I got on the back of the queue at sort of, where was it now, Turnford, and I went round the back turnings because of being a local. I know all the back turnings, and managed to try and get sort of to try, because I thought the roadworks were at the old pond, but they weren't. It's just these poxy traffic lights at Theobald's. Sorry, fellas, anybody who lives outside the area. And it was just ridiculous, massive traffic queues. And once I got past there, then I had these roadworks up at Waltham Cross to contend with. Then the road from Waltham Cross to Waltham Abbey, that was slow as well. But there was nothing, and all they were just coning off the road for the sake of coning off the road. There's no work being done.
No.
Like another part. And this is what they're doing all the time. I notice this a lot,
Well, do you find that with I don't know if the roundabouts by you are the same, Chris, where when I took I can drive, I haven't driven for years, but when I passed my test, if you come up to a roundabout and there's more than 3 junctions off it, let's say, you go in the right-hand lane to go all the way around, the middle lane would be sort of straight across, and the left-hand lane would be left or straight, that sort of thing. But then the modern, with our council sticking their oar in, you now go in the right-hand lane to go straight across. Well, that to me doesn't work. And some of our bigger roundabouts here, if you physically follow the lanes, they don't take you where you want to go, and that's I think is one of the reasons why there's so many more accidents. And I'm sure they changed the roundabouts around to cause accidents, to get more claims on insurance, etc.
And speed cameras cause accidents, because there's a place in Nazing where they've got speed cameras, and there's skid marks all down this road. People look at their speedos and they're not looking at the road, so they we're going to quickly and that is an actual fact. There is more accidents because people don't want to get done for speeding, so they're driving dangerously. It's just bonkers. It really is. I mean, I used to love driving. I'm not a speed merchant, but I love driving, and I used to love driving. But now you've got to have, excuse my language, eyes up your arse, because there's cameras here, cameras there, cameras everywhere. It's horrible. You feel like a criminal for driving a car. You really are made to feel like that, and was it bikes have got priority and things like that. Now, I mean, when I'm on my push bike, I understand how motorists feel, so I try and get out of motorist's way. So if there's a delivery lorry, I'll let the delivery lorry go, because why be stuck behind me for ages, and things like that, because it's consideration for others. And also what annoys me, again, when I come up to traffic lights, I'm like the car, I'll wait my turn with the cars. Whereas a lot of cyclists just go straight to the front of the queue, and then they say that's what you're supposed to do. No, because I'm sorry, I'll queue like the rest of them. Perhaps it's just being a bit English. I don't know, Now, Hachi says they had a better life in medieval times on the working week. Yes. And medieval peasants worked less hours than we do today. Did you know that? And
they also had more holidays because of the church observation. They'd observe festivals and feasts, and holy days.
That's right. Lots of roadworks here due to implementation of a certain thing I better not mention in case I get kicked off YouTube. So there we go. Yeah, I agree with you.
I was
And
going to quickly
also,
ask. I was going to
Mhm.
quickly ask you, Patrick. That do you find that? I know we were talking about transport earlier on. That are the modern cars in America crap, unlike the old cars of like the classic cars you see in old
Yeah.
movies and stuff like that.
Well, they're definitely harder to work on. You need
yes,
a computer diagnosis in order to get anything done on them, and then you have to deal with electronics a lot more than you did back in the day. I'd like just a simple car, manual windows, manual
I
everything
agree with you.
as
I
much as
100% agree.
possible,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Uh,
cheap. Make it cheap. There's no reason they have to take out a mortgage to buy a car.
Well, China, they said they're going to import simple cars from China. This was about 10, 15 years ago. Still waiting for them.
Yeah, they won't do
Which
it.
would have manual
Competition.
windows and something that's really simple to work on. I mean, I was watching this YouTube video of a bloke who's got an electric car. Bloody Nora, talk about complicated. You know, it weighs a ton, this thing. And it's just, to me, it's just a heap of shit. It really is. I'm sorry. It really is a heap of shit. Now, Haji said, Mr. H was a socialist. Yes, he was a national socialist, which is very different to anything else. Anything to add to that, Patrick? Because he was a national socialist, yes, but very different to the sort of socialism that you think about because he allowed free enterprise.
Well, there's international socialism, which is communism, and then you have national socialism, which is socialism within a
Mm.
geographic area, and that alone, I don't
Well,
know.
a family is socialist in many ways because you look after your own. That's a
Yeah,
sort of
I have a little bit different definition of socialism, and it's more of a religious thing. I think of socialism as basically Christianity without Christ. It's trying to help
Mm.
people and ostensibly poor people and divide things fairly. Yes, but it's not Christian because it doesn't recognize Jesus Christ as
But
Lord and Savior and
we only get poverty when you
governing.
got usury because that creates
Right,
poverty. So
right.
that's
And
the thing.
capitalism is basically state-sponsored usury is
Correct.
capitalism.
Correct. So this is the thing. I mean, it's quite interesting what Nathan Allenby was saying the other week. I didn't realise this. He said before the Industrial Revolution, few people used cash. You just lived in an area, you chopped wood, and you sort of helped each other, kind of thing. Now it sounds like a utopia but the trouble is you always get people falling out. But um, I think that's well,
Well,
okay,
there's this economics term called flow. Like they say cash flow. Like I've got cash flow because I've got money at my dispense, that I
mm,
can trade for goods, for
yeah,
labor, for goods.
I
And
agree.
that's what it's all about is having cash flow so
Mm,
that you can do that. And you don't need money in order to have flow of goods. You can
true.
barter, you can
Agree.
trade, your neighbors and your family you can trade with. So they have a surplus of something, you trade your surplus of whatever you have. And
And there was no unemployment because in a village, everybody had a skill. So there was a bloke who dug
right,
the
and there's
graves and
work,
things, and there's
work, because there's always somebody with a field that needs to be cleared and needs
yeah,
men to go and
okay,
clear it.
yeah.
So
And I think that also this idea of repairing things, I like that idea that the Germans have got, where they have these little repair stations. I think it's bloody brilliant. It creates people, I mean, I always believe that older people should show the younger people the road, where how to do things,
yeah.
skills and things like that. You know,
Well, like someone was saying earlier about calling the elderly, the elders or
yeah,
whatever they call them, yeah,
pensioners,
pensioners. Yeah, that's kind of
elders.
uh, you
Yeah,
know, materialistic thing because it's all
mm.
about money. No, it's they're living monuments like in Japan. Elderly are respected, and you go to them for wisdom because they've lived a life.
That's
They
it.
have experience.
Same in tribes. The elderly are looked at, and apparently older women in tribes will walk into a warring tribe, walk over to them, and they won't be touched, to negotiate peace and to stop the fighting if there's fighting. And elderly women are actually respected in that way. They will not be touched by anybody. And you think these people are savages, but not quite, Um,
Yeah. Is that why they put elderly people on all these tablets and stuff these days to basically? I mean, like for example, my understanding is that statins link to dementia because
Hmm.
statins get rid of cholesterol out of the
That's
blood,
it.
which is brain is made up of cholesterol, which links to dementia. Is that why elderly people are always put on masses and masses of tablets to effectively make them to dumb
Well, you've
them
got a
down, if you
point.
like, rather than pass on
Yeah.
skills and this is how it used to be?
Yeah. And you've got a very good point there. And also this expansion of old folks' homes and things like that. Well, the family used to look after the elders.
or the church.
Yeah, or the church. That's right. It's a nice community. And I know that in Ireland, I think the local padre used to, if that's the right word, used to go around, and if there's anybody a little bit sick, he'd make sure that they'd have, a cooked meal and the things like that. It was like a community. That it was, you know, people looked after each other, so you
They
wouldn't
still
find
do that,
people.
like, in our church. They, so say we
Oh,
have
that's
someone
good.
who's sick and can't get out of their home, the priest will go to visit them or send someone with communion, and then
Oh,
they
that's
check
kind.
up on them and see how they're doing. Say, "Hey,
Mm,
do you need anything?" And it's kind of a
yeah,
network and way to do things that goes
that is
back
the
to
way.
ancient times.
And I think that, you can see the best of people. It brings out the best in people and that, shows they care. I mean, the amount of elderly people that are at home on their own and don't see anybody. But anyway, Hatchie says, anyone remember Campwick Green? It's now
Yeah,
Campwick Green
Windy
Pew.
Windmill Windy Miller.
That's
Wasn't that?
it.
Yeah.
Green Pew. Do you have that in the States? Pew Pew, Barney McGrew,
No.
Dribble and Grub. Oh my lord.
No,
Yes.
we didn't have that.
Didn't you? Oh, we must see it. If it's on, you must see Kenwick Green on YouTube.
I've seen
Mind you,
it. I was told about it
someone's
by
done some smutty voiceovers to it though. Britt Etlin was
yeah.
lovely. She was actually. She's still around, and she croaked it, or she's still around. I think she's still around. She. Now, was it? Edward Woodward. Sorry, Edward Woodward. Fart in the bath. Edward Woodward married. What a name! Married Frank Spencer's missus. Oh my God, Michelle Detrice. Wow. Oh, Betty. Yes. I bet you that was typically English humour. I don't think you'd have got Some Mothers Do Have Them in the States. About a bloke who was a bit of a twit. Do you ever get it? Some Mothers Do Have Them.
What?
It's a comedy called Some Mothers Do Have Them.
No.
Again, YouTube Frank Spencer. Some Mothers Do Have Them. It's
He did
difficult.
his own stunts, didn't he?
He did, yes,
Bit
yes.
like
Oh, Betty.
Last of the Summer Wine. I mean, that used to drive me mad. But they're Cleggy and that. Like they used to do their own stunts, or at least Bill Owen did. Compo.
Yeah,
He used to do his own stunts.
really?
Yeah.
Because I
Oh,
know
okay,
that.
I get it. Some mothers do have them.
Yeah.
Have them. I
Have
get it.
them,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
yeah. And people used to take, "Oh, Betty," it's just you can't really describe it, but it was very, very funny. Do you remember that
Alright.
when he went to woodworking classes, he stuck everything with super glue, and everybody's getting stuck to things. Um, Now, Alice Gould just says, "I used to think we could get back to that type of community, but I'm losing hope. No one really cares. No one really cares because we've had ideological subversion for years and years and years, which has demoralized everybody. Because you look at the amount of people that have not got self-respect. And this is another thing, going backwards to go forwards. My grandfather always had self-respect, and he always said, lift your head up, look ahead, have self-respect. It's not snobbery, it's just you have self-respect. And I think this is part of the reason why people, now there's two types of tattoos, all right? There's the tattoos that are done tastefully done, that are works of art, and there's ones that look as if they've been drawn on by a bloody they're all sort of black and shitty and all over the place. They're the ones I can't stand. Well, I don't like tattoos generally, but really they're the worst. And the people that have it all over their face and that, they lack their self-respect. I don't know. There's something gone weird, you know.
I think it's important that you do love yourself and be positive with yourself
Mm.
and give yourself positive affirmations, as it were.
I agree.
And I was going to say something else on that, but I forgot what I was going to say. No,
Well,
I'll think
don't
about it.
worry.
It'll come back.
You think about it. And I still can't think of the punchline of that bastard joke. Now it says here, yeah, old people remember how it used to be, and the government don't want that.
Oh, yeah,
That's
my
a bloody
question, what I was
good
going to
point.
ask was,
Yeah.
would we, to get back to the old world, as it were,
Mm.
would everybody on here give up their smartphones? And how
That's a good
difficult
point.
would that be? Because,
Mm.
I mean, you think about it, it's not been that long ago that we didn't have these things. I've got
Mm.
photographs from 96, 97, 98, 99. Wasn't that far away,
No.
where there were no mobile phones at all. And how did we get on? We used the telephone box, or we actually went and spoke to people, and
Yeah. They have a thing called scrolling, and people need to stop doing that. Just going
Yeah.
on their phone and just scrolling and looking at every little video and clip or, you know, tragic news or
Oh,
whatever it is. It gets old, and I catch myself doing it. I'm
I do. I
guilty.
catch myself good. I tell you what gets me though is people that come up to you. Somebody, might be talking to, oh, look at this on my phone. You get someone,
Yeah.
cat jumping and doing a funny dance or tap dancing hamster or something. And it
Yeah.
goes on, and you think, I'm bored shitless with this. Oh, yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Oh, bloody hell, Now, now Nathan, he's come back. Hello, Nathan. Lucy says, are you home yet, mate? Right. I don't think you are because you're from Milton Keynes to where you're home. It's quite a long way. Right. I'll see you on tomorrow's show. Thanks, chat. Patrick, Chris, Paul, etc. Just arriving back in Middles wank. Speak soon. Oh, take care. That wasn't bad, was it? From Milton Cock up to Middles wank. Sorry.
must be the fast horse or something.
Bloody hell, yeah. Now, Frank Spencer. This is Stephen Trinity said Frank Spencer of Mothers Do Have 'Em. Was for its time didn't age well. Yeah, you're right. It's a modern generation wouldn't understand it. Now, Arts Burgers as Fudge said, I would be very happy to give up my smartphone. And Mark Anthony said, doom scrolling. Yes. And also, I'm getting fed up on YouTube of clickbait.
Yeah.
You know,
They know the algorithm to get you interested.
clickbait really gets on my nerves, and this bloody Atlas thing that's we're getting signals from it. Will they land aliens on Earth? It's bullshit. Total bullshit. Because I've seen the video of the fella that knows, who's good friends. It sounds like someone in a pub who knows me, but it knows the person who discovered it and has him on his show occasionally. And he said, no, it's just from another sort of universe. That's all. There's nothing, and was it the other one is Revolution. Britain is finished. Store these things up before next week. Apparently, was it? The balloon's supposed to have gone up on the 1st of November. 2nd of November today. I think we're still here.
Eric, I'm gonna head out.
Well, I'm going to zoom off. We are past 10 here at night. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, we had one thumbs down at least half an hour before the show started.
Yeah. Thumbs up, subscribe.
So thumbs up, please, subscribe, and
hit the
please
bell.
catch us tomorrow on YouTube with Nathan and maybe Patrick, maybe Anorak, who knows, will be on. And thanks for joining us. And whatever happens, by the way, do you want to say anything, our Minister for Transport, Minister for Cheese, before we go to everybody?
Just want to say thank you to everyone listening, and it's been a great show and just nice chill out session. It's been good. Thank you to everyone.
Holylandradio.com.
Holylandradio.com. And remember, whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh and good night.